You're listening to WNBC Radio. This is New York City. Cousin Bruce, tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Now back to the World Series.
The umpires for tonight's game are now huddling at home plate. Don Denkinger of the American League will be calling balls and strikes this evening. Andy Olson of the National League will be down at first base. Juan Luciano of the American League, one of the most demonstrative umpires in the business, down at second base from the American League. The veteran of this crew for the World Series, Tom Gorman, who's been through 5 World Series, will be at third base. Bill Kunkel of the American League down the left field line, and Doug Harvey down the right field line from the National League. We're now waiting for the ceremonial first pitch, and it is to be thrown by Connie Mack Jr., the youngest son of Connie Mack, the founder of the old Philadelphia A's, who later became the Kansas City A's and are now the Oakland A's, and a man who leads everybody, and I'm sure for all time, in longevity for a manager, as he managed the A's for more than 50 years. His youngest son, Connie Mack Jr., throwing out now the first ball to Ray Fosse. The Dodgers line up tonight. Davey Lopes leads off and plays at second base. Bill Buckner hit a home run last night. He's batting second out in left field. Jim Wynn bats third in center field. Steve Garvey bats clean up at first base. Joe Ferguson bats fifth in right field. Ron Say, the third baseman. Bill Russell at shortstop. Batting eighth and back in the lineup tonight with left-hander Holtzman on the mound, Steve Yeager, and Andy Messersmith is the pitcher. For the Oakland A's, Campy Campaneris will lead it off and play at shortstop. Bill North in center field. Sal Bando at third base. Reggie Jackson in right field. Joe Rudy in left field. And we assume that Claudel Washington, we will check that again for you, will bat sixth. Yes. He will, says Vince Scudder. Ray Fosse bats seventh. Dick Green, the second baseman, eighth. And Ken Holtzman is now going out to the mound. And as Game 4 of the 1974 World Series is about to be underway, let us get underway with the voice of the Los Angeles Dodgers, Vin Scully.
Thank you, Jim. And we can start off by partially solving, if you want to use this as a solution, to the late change of Gene Tennis and Claudel Washington. The press box called down to Alvin Dark and asked him about the change in the starting lineup. And Alvin said, quote, "Tennis is not in the starting lineup." And they said, "Thank you very much." And we passed that along to you, and here we go. Left-hander Kenny Holtzman, who spent a very brief time in the minor leagues, a young left-hander who was a very successful pitcher in the National League, but most people who watch him now say he is a better pitcher, is loosening up to Ray Fosse. Holtzman, left-handed, will sidearm left-hand hitters, good fastball, not overpowering, not considered that much of a strikeout pitcher, and very good control, and he'll turn over his pitches, make them act somewhat like a screwball. Davey Lopes, Bill Buckner, and Jimmy Wynn will be the trio coming up to test him. So the infield for the A's, Joe Rudy at first, Dick Green at second, Campy Campaneris at short, and Sal Bando at third. Claudel Washington is in left, Billy North in center, and Reggie Jackson in right. The dimensions again, 330 down the line, 375 up the alleys, 400 to straightaway center, and a 10-foot warning track. A very tough ballpark in which to see, although with the sun's rays not a factor, perhaps that'll make it a little bit easier for the outfielders. One thing that all of the outfielders do not like to do here at this time of day is to turn your back on a fly ball. A big league outfielder normally can do that, turn his back, run, and turn back and pick it up. But if you turn your back on a fly ball in this ballpark, you might never find it. However, as we said, without the sun coming down, perhaps that complication has been removed. Ray Fosse goes halfway out to the mound for a last-minute holler or two to Kenny Holtzman. Meanwhile, in center field, Bill North is waiting for them to drop the backdrop down so he can get the ball game underway. Davey Lopes has had 2 hits in the series and 2 stolen bases. He did it in the same inning. You might win yourself a nice cold one with a bet, as the last time an American leaguer stole 2 bases in one inning, would you believe Babe Ruth? Well, we're still waiting for the backdrop before we get underway. For the Dodgers, they motored out from their hotel in San Francisco at 2:30. They had plenty of time to work out. Although, as we mentioned earlier, and as Jim mentioned in giving the lineup, there was a slight question in the Dodger camp as to whether Jimmy Wynn could play. Jimmy soaked his right hand in ice last night after the game, and then alternated from hot whirlpool water and ice before the game. He disdained batting practice. He did not take outfield drill, but he is in the starting lineup, although we have a hunch he'll be swinging one-handed. Now the backdrop is down, solid green, so the hitters can pick up the ball, and we're about ready. The sun's splashing on the bleachers in center and right center, but that's it. And Kenny Holtzman's first pitch of Game 4 is outside and high, ball 1. Davy Lopes checking with Tommy Lasorda. Lopes with just a couple of hits in the series. Holtzman back to him, whips a fastball over for a strike. And the count 1-1. The lights here do not take any effect at all at this hour, 5:37 local time. So no doubt the hitters will have some trouble at the plate. Slow curve high and outside, ball 2. 2-1. The Dodgers started off the evening on a very happy note. First baseman Steve Garvey's lovely wife delivered a baby girl. The pitch to Lopes outside, ball 3. That means 5 Dodger wives have delivered girls, 5 consecutive. Ferguson, Huff, John, Joshua, and now Garvey's wife, Cindy. The latest arrival to the Dodger family, Krisha Lee. 6 pounds, 12 ounce, mom and dad and daughter doing well. Fly ball to center field. Bill Norris is there, just waiting for it and puts it away. 1 down, and Bill Buckner the batter. Buckner hitting .313. For most of this year, the Dodgers sat Buckner down against left-handers, and they played Tom Fitzgerald. However, Buckner, in about a 5-week period, convinced everybody that he should just stay in the lineup, and so in it he is. So Buckner hitting in the number 2 spot, and Holtzman ready to go to work. Kenny comes to him, fastball that gets the inside corner for a strike, 0-1. The Dodgers got 7 hits against Holtzman, but only 1 run. So they know he's in for a struggle. He walked but 2, and a breaking ball is waved at and missed. Strike 2. Buckner, very much of a fastball hitter. He hit a fastball into the seats last night. 0-2 to Bill. He had 2 hits against Holtzman in the game down at Dodger Stadium. The strike 2 pitch, he fouls the curveball off. Buckner, a good hitter, and he will keep the outfield busy. For instance, against Holtzman, he went with the pitch, single to left, slide to left, and then pulled and single to right. The outfield, if anything, straight away, and Bill North shading him just a dab towards right center. Fastball is hit down the left field line, and Claudell Washington on a dead run. Can't hold on to it. And Buckner is into second base as Bill Kunkel falls down and calling it a fair ball. An embarrassing moment for the American League umpire, but even more embarrassing for Claudell Washington. On a long run to the corner, he got his glove on the ball and dropped it. And Buckner is into second base, and we'll see how they rule it. Kunkel, running down the foul line, slipped and fell on the seat of his pants, but at the same time was indicating fair ball all the way. And now they rule a wrong field double for Bill Buckner. So he just finished saying that he'll go the other way. He went 3 out of 4 times the other way against Holtzman in Los Angeles, and he doubles to left tonight. The batter is Jimmy Wynn, and he might be hitting one-handed for all we know. Holtzman at the bell, the look at Buckner, the pitch to Wynn away with a fastball, ball 1. Jimmy has 2 hits, 1 home run and an RBI. Hit the home run in Los Angeles. But as we mentioned, he hurt his right hand, being doubled off first base in the 9th inning last night. Holtzman, a look at Buckner. The left-handed back with a fastball down and away. Ball 2. Another pattern that has held up throughout the series, the way the Oakland pitchers have been pitching the Dodger hitters, they have basically kept the ball away. That's been a certain consistent factor about all of their pitchers, and since they're leading 2-1, it's apparently working. The next one is off speed for a strike, and the count 2-1. So Bill Buckner at second. 1 out in the first inning, just the start of game number 4. Holtzman, left foot in the rubber, looks down to Ray Fossey to get a sign. Can a check to Buckner, and comes back to his hitter. Change, fouled away off to the right, out of play. He turned it over, and Wynn had to reach across the plate to get a piece of it and go with it. 2-2. On deck, the brand new father who just got word about the new arrival, Steve Garvey. When the Dodgers were taking batting practice, he got the word, although he knew his wife had gone to the hospital at 6 o'clock this morning. Buckner dancing off the bag, and Holtzman off the rubber. Buckner will steal third, and he will try to steal third. Buckner, during the course of the regular season, stole 31 bases. Holtzman watching him, and he's trying to move the infield. Slow curve fouled off by Wynn. Right hand came off the bat early in the swing, and the count remains 2-2. Lopes opened up the ball game with a fly ball to center. Buckner, a wrong field double. Washington got his glove on the ball, but dropped it in the corner. And Jimmy Wynn up there in the count 2-2. Holtzman at the belt. Another look at Buckner. He's coming down pretty far, and Holtzman watching him now to the hitter, and it's waved at and missed. Strike three. Good off-speed pitch. Holtzman turning over the change, and Wynn way out in front of it. So 2 down, and here is Steve Garvey. So Garvey, who has been a big man for the Dodgers in the series, he has more hits than anybody else with 5. Joe Rudy has 4. Garvey is 5 for 13. That's a .385 average, although he does not have an RBI. And, of course, he was a muscle man for the Dodgers during the year. He had 21 home runs and 111 runs batted in. Holtzman works him way outside, ball 1. Garvey had 2 base hits in the Holtzman game. One of them against Kenny, and it was the other way. He singled to right field. Holtzman started him off away, and the count 1 ball and no strike. Dick Green trying to bird dog Buckner a little bit, and the pitch to Garvey off speed and away, ball 2. On deck, Joe Ferguson, who is playing right field. So Holtzman, pitching carefully, fell behind the leadoff man Davy Lopes and got him, and was hurt when Washington made a fine effort but dropped the fly ball in the left field corner. Ed made a great pitch to strike out Wynn. Off speed, swung on and foul tipped, and the count 2-1. Kenny Holtzman, 6'2", 180-pounder. He'll be 29 in November. Left-hander set, another check of Buckner. Back with a breaking ball up and away. So he's behind to Garvey now, 3-1. And Fossey, I think, gestured to him that he had opened up much too soon. He really had that right shoulder open, so the breaking ball never did break much. It stayed way up and outside. And Fossey, in a little quick pantomime, told him to tuck that shoulder back in. 3-1 pitch is swung on and missed. Strike 2. So a full count is Steve Garvey with Bill Buckner at second. 2 out in the first inning, no score. Game 4 of the World Series. Joe Ferguson waiting his turn on deck. Garvey now backs out for the moment, so time called. Little lattice work of sunlight and shadows out in center field. So it'll be Bill North and Jimmy Wynn battling a little bit of sun. The 3-2 pitch to Garvey. Curveball got him. So Holtzman strikes out Wynn and Garvey. Lily Buckner is second. And at the end of half an inning, Dodgers nothing. Oakland coming up.
You're out for a Sunday drive. The kids are singing in the backseat. Everything is bathed in buttery sunlight. Down the road are trees blazing in fall beauty. And coming at you is a car in your lane. You're tight by the little mailboxes, avoiding a serious accident. Everyone's safe, but your car looks like someone used a can opener on it. You call for the cavalry. The Kemper Cavalry. The Kemper Insurance Companies and the independent agents who represent Kemper will ride to your rescue with 24-hour claim service. We're fast, but more important, we're fair. We won't leave you out in the cold. Anyone can have an accident. And if it wasn't your fault, your rates won't go up. Call an independent agent near you. He's listed in the yellow pages. The Kemper Insurance Companies. We're with you for the long ride.
47, Andy Messersmith.
We go to the bottom of the first inning at the Oakland Coliseum. The Dodgers fail to score. Will set them defensively. Andy Messersmith, a 20-game winner on the mound. Behind the plate, Steve Yeager. An infield of Steve Garvey and Davy Lopes, Bill Russell and Ron Say. And an outfield of Bill Buckner, Jimmy Wynn, and Joe Ferguson. For the A's, it'll be Bert Campaneris, followed by Bill North, and then Sal Bando. A visiting pitcher, if he has never pitched here in the Oakland Coliseum, has to battle one thing. When he stands on the mound and looks in towards home plate, there is a solid green backstop at eye level, 60-some-odd feet away from home plate. it makes home plate seem further away. And the first pitch hits Campaneris. So Bert Campaneris gets on base on the first pitch. And the batter will be Bill North. Sal Bando, you remember, was hit by Don Sutton late in Sutton's game. And now Campaneris is one. Joe Ferguson was hit in Los Angeles. So Bill North coming up. North, they can do a lot of things with him. He's a first ball hitter. He's a good bunter. Switch hitter. They throw to first. Campaneris back. Messerschmidt has a very good move to first base. Maybe not quite as quick as Mike Marshall, but it's a very good one. Campaneris, of course, a brilliant base runner. He has to get back again. Usually when North bunts right-handed, he can either drag or push. Most of the time, as a left-hander, he drags. Let's see what he does this time. Say is in on the grass. Garvey holding Campaneris. And Messerschmidt deals the breaking ball low. 1-0, the count to Bill North. So the Dodgers got a fly ball double by Bill Buckner on a ball dropped by Claudell Washington after a long run. And now Campaneris opens up by being hit by the first pitch. Messerschmidt battling the rubber and backs off, while North looks down to Bobby Winkle. North is considered a much better hitter right-handed and more power. And Bill is double-checking the signs with Winkles and now finally climbs back in. On deck, Sal Bando. Another throw, and back to the bag goes Campaneris. North so far in the series is 1 for 10. He picked up that base hit last night as a right-handed hitter. Messerschmidt at the belt. Campaneris goes. Pitch swung on and missed. A throw to Lope. They get him easily. You just don't run on Steve Yeager. If the pitcher does any kind of a job at all of holding the runner on, Yeager will throw you out. And so Campaneris is informed of that fact, and down he goes. We had mentioned earlier that in the National League, they feel that Yeager throws with Johnny Bench and throws with anybody. So Campaneris is thrown out. A nice tag by Davy Lope. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike to Bill North. Yeager with a sore left knee from a collision with Sal Bando, but he was rested last night. There's that drag bunt, but it's a one-hopper to Lopes who throws him out. So we told you right-handed he will jump or drag. Left-handed he only drags, and Lopes throws him out. So 2 down, and the batter Sal Bando. Bando, a steady and probably the leader of the group, is looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 10. Strong right-hand batter. Messerschmidt working out of a windup. Bases empty. 2 down, no score, first inning. And he's fastball high, ball 1. That's challenging Bando. That's pitching to his strength. He's basically a high ball hitter. 1-0. Messerschmidt back to the plate. Fastball swung on and missed. 1-1. On deck, Reggie Jackson hitting in the cleanup spot. Beautiful evening. Boy, we have had magnificent weather for this first all-California series. 1-1 pitch, fastball foul back, 1-2. Andy's curveball has been a sometimes thing. When he doesn't have it, he doesn't strike people out. When he does, he picks them up. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and Bando goes down. So he is 0 for 11 in the series. No runs, no hits, nobody left. And at the end of an inning, no score.
Who makes it come out of the dream? White out the sea. Great taste in tobacco, some pipe in the country. Too far water, you ought to know. You ought to know. White out the sea.
There's a little town in western Pennsylvania called Oil City where they make peace of mind for car owners. Quaker State Motor Oil. They refine it from 100% pure Pennsylvania-grade crude oil, the world's choices. Then they fortify it to protect your engine against heat and rust and dirt and wear. Quaker State. Who says you can't buy peace of mind?
Quaker State your car. You keep it riding young. You keep it riding young.
One inning of Game 4 in the books, no score. Dodgers and A's. The Dodgers will have Joe Ferguson, followed by Ron Say, and then Bill Russell. Fergie had a miserable night last night with his family and friends watching, but it didn't faze him any. In fact, several of the writers in the local area pointed out that his good-natured attitude over an awful night. He takes a fastball for a strike. Fergie charged with 2 errors last night. Also had a fastball and struck out twice. Big right-hand batter. The strike one pitch outside. 1-1. I think part of his good hitting is the fact that he is a sometimes catcher because he is one of the better guess hitters around. Holtzman comes back and changes and turned it over outside. Tommy Lasorda doing a little cheerleading in the third base coaching box. Jim Gilliam always on the quiet side, coaching at first. Holtzman misses low. So Fergie backs out. And it's 3-1. The scoreboard is late on a count. 3 balls and 1 strike to Joe Ferguson. Holtzman's 3-1 pitch. The fastball over strike 2. So Kenny Holtzman, who struck out Wynn and Garvey, now goes 3-2 to Ferguson, and there's a one-hopper backhanded on a scrambling stop by Green to get it. Dick Green does not have great range at all. If there is a key to Green's performance, it is his knowledge of how to play the hitters. That's one reason why he's been standing in front of line drives lately and turning them into double plays. And that time, he was able to backhand the ball, stumbled and almost went down on both knees. Actually, his left knee did go down. And then he got up and got Ferguson. Ron Say drills one to center. North, however, fading back and makes the catch. North got a good jump on the line drive, and he was there waiting for it. So 2 down, and the batter will be Bill Russell. Neither team wearing out the other. The Dodgers came in with 24 hits in 3 games, and the A's came in with 17. Garvey, the top man, with 5 for the Dodgers, and Rudy, along with Campaneris, 4 apiece for the A's. No score, 2 out, and here is Russell. Fastball low to Bill, ball 1. Joe Rudy playing first. In the last-minute split, Gene Tennis sits down and Claudell Washington in left field. Russell after a pitch down and away and comes up empty in the count 1-1. So Rudy and Green, Campaneris and Bando, Washington, North, and Jackson in the outfield. Ray Fosse behind the plate. Kenny Holtzman comes back 1-1. Fastball hit to the left of Campaneris. He moves over, throws him out, and the Dodgers are gone. 1-2-3. The end of an inning and a half, no score.
Hello, I'm the Cricket Lighter by Gillette. When you want a disposable lighter, ask for Cricket, and I'll sing you my song. Cricket Lighter is really quite a light. It'll last for months and still burn bright with thousands of sure firelights and a flame that adjusts a different height. Gee, maybe someday my name will be in the lights. Catch a Cricket for $1.49 by Gillette.
Looking for a better way to shave? Use hot lather instead of cold. You can get it from the new Gillette Hot Shave System, an appliance that heats all leading brands of aerosol shave cream. In just a minute, you can get steamy hot lather that softens whiskers better so your razor works better. For a great shave, for a great gift, get the new Gillette Hot Shave System. Gift packed with track-through razor and foamy lather. It's a better way to shave. Bottom of the second inning, no score. And the A's now will send up some big boys, Reggie Jackson and Joe Rudy, followed by Claudell Washington. Jackson is feeling much better and running much better after getting a cortisone shot in Los Angeles. In fact, Reggie said he's had about 9 hamstring pulls in his career, and it's the first time he ever had a cortisone shot, and it's the first time he has ever come back this quickly. So the likable right fielder will start it off, left-hand batter, and Messersmith waiting for him. Jackson in the series is 3 for 9. Messersmith into the windup. Andy deals, change, swung on and missed, 0-1. Jackson hit a high slider that didn't have much on it. It was up and stayed on the outside part of the plate, and he hit it into the left field bleachers in Dodger Stadium.
And as Messersmith said, I will not throw him another sloppy slider. Strike one pitch on the way. On the hands, rolled up along first. Garvey tries to head it off, but it's foul. He was trying to get to the ball before it veered foul, but he couldn't do it. So Jackson will come back and try it again, and the count 0-2. Bottom of the second, no score. The Dodgers had a one-out double by Buckner. They left him at second base. Campaneris was hit by Messersmith's first pitch, was promptly thrown out trying to steal. So we're in the bottom of the second. Jackson, low fastball hitter. I guess if you could generalize, you could make a statement about left-hand hitters and right-hand hitters, it probably would stay. A breaking ball low, 1-2. Most left-hand hitters are low ball hitters, and most right-hand hitters are high ball hitters. 1-2, the count to Reggie. Garvey deep and guarding the line. The infield playing him to pull. They're deep and around to first. Andy back with a pitch hit off the end of the bat foul and off to the left. 1-2. Messersmith with a fastball, curveball, sometimes a slider, and a marvelous changeup. What makes his changeup so effective, it has good rotation. It looks just like a fastball, but as the players say, it's about 1.5 feet short. There's a drive slicing to left center. Wynn on the run, backhands it, and almost lost the ball. Jimmy Wynn making a good play as that ball began to sink, and he looked like he flinched for a moment, and then picked it up and stayed with it. So Reggie Jackson lines out to center fielder Jimmy Wynn. One down, and the batter, Joe Rudy. Rudy probably as tough an out as the A's have, so it is no surprise that he's hitting .333 with 4 hits and 3 RBIs. You have to be very careful with Joe. He's another one of those hitters who does not like to hang around. He's a first ball hitter. He promptly rams it, and it's backhanded by Loach. Sets, throws in the dirt, dug out by Garvey. So 2 good plays, Loach to backhand, and then Garvey to dig it out. And 2 down in the second inning, and Claudell Washington coming up.
Number 15, Claudell Washington.
Claudell Washington has been finishing up. The ball players would call him a caddy for Reggie Jackson. Left-hand batter, and 1 for 1. Messersmith into the windup and deals. On the hands, foul back. Yeager in pursuit. Comes to the base of the screen, but it's on the other side in the crowd. And the count 0-1. As far as the crowd is concerned, it looks about the same as last night. Last night, 49,347. 2 down. Bottom of the second, no score. A very warm evening in Oakland. Messersmith comes back 0-1, a change high, 1-1. Messersmith comes back to the plate 1-1. A change swung on and missed. 1-2. Denkinger, Olson, Luciano, and Gorman are the umpires. Kunkel on the left field line. Harvey on the right field line. 1-2 to Claudell Washington. Messersmith ready over the top. A breaking ball hit wide at third. Into the hole is Russell. A bad throw. All the way to the top roller. But Washington was going straight down the line and never made a turn. It might go as a hit because Russell was deep in the hole. Washington, a left-hand batter who runs very well. And it's going to be ruled a base hit, and that's good scoring. So an infield single with 2 down, and the batter, Ray Fosse. One other thing to complicate matters for Russell, as he tried to set himself to throw, his back foot, his right foot skidded, and that's why he threw so high. There is Ray Fosse, right-hand batter. Messersmith ready and deals fastball in on the hands, ball 1. Fosse, going almost all the way behind the plate, is 0 for 9. Larry Haney finished up 1 game. 1-0 to Ray Fosse. Claudell Washington off the bag, held on by Garvey. The throw to tie him up. On deck, Dick Green. Each side with 1 hit. Messersmith comes back to the hitter, and he's up with a breaking ball. Not much of a curve yet, and the count 2-0. Fosse has a look at Winkles to see if they'll allow him to swing. Claudell Washington off the bag at first. Messersmith's change is hit foul outside of third and down the line. So Andy Gamble 2-0, and Fosse pulled the change hard, but foul. 2-1. Blessed are the peacemakers, and of course I'm sure you're aware that Fosse was injured and operated on trying to break up a fight in the A's clubhouse. So it slowed him up quite a bit. He's well again. A throw to first, Washington back to the bag. The whole key for the Dodgers and for any ball club is for the pitcher to hold the speedsters on. The 2-1 pitch. Messersmith delivers, fast one, swung on and missed. Fosse pulling it through with the left hand. His right hand came off the bat almost at the beginning of the swing. 2-2. Ray back up to the plate, right hand hitter. No runs, one hit for each side. 2-2. Messersmith will look at Washington. He doesn't go, and the fastball is swung on and missed, and that'll do it. No runs, a hit, a man left, and at the end of 2, no score.
Just when you need it more than ever, you can find it more places than ever. That's Quaker State Motor Oil. Why do you need it more? Because if you're using your car less, that engine just isn't getting the exercise it needs. But Quaker State's quality protection is tailor-made to handle deposits that build up in an underworked engine. Now that you need it more, it's available more places. Nice to know.
Quaker State your car to keep it bright young.
This is Frank Blair on behalf of over 4,700 True Value Hardware stores. When you shop True Value Hardware stores, you can be assured of getting the best of two worlds. Brand name selection at money-saving prices and the personal service you would expect from a neighborhood merchant. Because your True Value Hardware dealer is precisely that. A hometown merchant who is a member of the nation's largest hardware buying network. Shop at your local True Value Hardware store. True Value, not just a name, it's a way of doing business.
We pause 35 seconds for station identification.
Isaac Hayes and Pam Greer, the perfect match to set the screen on fire. Put them together and watch the sparks fly when Truck Turner meets Foxy Brown. When they get it on, the action takes off. Truck Turner and Foxy Brown together on one big show. Rated R, under 17, not admitted without parents.
Because the World Series is brought to you in part by American International Pictures, who brings you Truck Turner and Foxy Brown, now playing at a Showcase Theater right near you, WNBC, New York.
To the third inning in the Oakland Coliseum, no score. Kenny Holtzman and Andy Messersmith. The Dodgers sending up Steve Yeager, followed by Messersmith, and then Davy Lopes. Left-hander Holtzman deals high, ball one. Dodgers with one hit, a fly ball double by Bill Buckner. The A's with one hit, an infield single by Claudell Washington. The hardest hit ball of the game and out. A fly ball into deep left field. Washington going back and watching it hit the wall. Plays the carom perfectly. Yeager into second base head first with a double. So Steve Yeager, who wears glasses, still went head first into the bag, right underneath Dick Green, as he hit the left center field wall for a double. And with nobody out, the batter will be Andy Messersmith. Prior to that shot, the hardest hit ball in the game was the line drive by Reggie Jackson. That was
I'm so darn smart,
Well, I was looking for a call. Nobody out in the third inning. The A's pull up the corners. They're looking for a bunt. Holtzman deals, and Andy takes outside. Ball one. The A's, like just about every ball club, maneuver their infield around a little bit on a bunt situation. Basically, you really get fancy when you have a daring base runner. Then you have a play. The 1-0 pitch, Messersmith gets the bunt down. It's a good one. He makes Bando field it, and Sal throws him out with Dick Green covering. So Messersmith gets the bunt down, gets Yeager to third, and with one out, it'll be the leadoff man, Davy Lopes. Both the A's and the Dodgers have basically the same bunt play. It is interesting with a runner at second, and it's effective if you have a daring base runner. What you try to do is lull him and fool him, so that on the first pitch, which is not bunted, the second baseman covers first, and the shortstop runs to cover third. And this might happen a couple of times, and the runner starts thinking, oh, well, then I'll just run to third with the shortstop. Here's Lopes. Swings, doesn't get it. 0-1. However, just when you get that runner thinking you can run to third with the shortstop, that's just when the second baseman fakes going to first and comes back. But they weren't going to use it on somebody like Yeager, who didn't figure to take that kind of a lead. Lopes takes low in the count 1-1. Davey trying to fight a natural tendency to be an over-swinger. Trying right now just to meet the ball. The infield up on the right side, halfway on the left. Yeager at third, one out in the third, no score. Holtzman's fast one chased and missed. Looked like he went after a bad ball. And the count 1-2. Lopes, as we said, is the kind of hitter who almost makes up his mind to swing before the pitch. Davey, a former outfielder, converted to play second base. 1-2, a runner at third. No score, one away in the third. Holtzman ready and delivers, and it's low. He turns it over, down and away, and Dark starts to come out of the dugout. Turns and goes back in. 2-2 the count. Dinkinger, with his hand on his hips, just looks over at the A's manager. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch by Holtzman. Swung on and hit back three. He's taking advantage of an over-swinger and strikes him out. And the batter is Bill Buckner. So for Holtzman, he struck out Wynn and Garvey in the first inning. Now Lopes here in the third. And with 2 down, Buckner coming up. Buckner had the 5-ball double to left. They leave Bando in on the grass. Everybody else starts to go back. But Rudy now stays up near the bag at first. Buckner will bunt occasionally. The pitch to him is stiff foul off third base. Peeling out of play. Bando over to take a look, but that's all. 0-1. Ray Fosse out to the mound to talk to Kenny Holtzman. And, of course, the big out in the inning is striking out Lopes. No balls, 1 strike to Bill Buckner. Jimmy Wynn on deck. No runs, 2 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 1 hit for the A's. The next one to Buck is low, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike. Kenny Holtzman, a 19-game winner against Andy Messersmith, a 20-game winner. Outfield playing Buckner straight away. Holtzman comes back 1-1, and it's low, ball 2. 2-1. Buckner backs out, has a look at Yeager. He's a quiet runner. The catcher just walking down the line. Holtzman checking signs. Now to the windup. The 2-1 pitch. Knocks him down. 3-1. You might be interested about Holtzman pitching out of a stretch to Lopes and a windup to Buckner. He was thinking about a squeeze, but the Dodgers rarely squeeze, and Lopes is not a good bunter. So he's gone back to a windup now with Buckner, 3-1. Boy, it's tough to get a fastball high and tight like that this time of the night. 3-1 pitch is full foul outside of first and down the line, and the count 3-2. So the Dodgers had a 1-out double by Buckner, and they left him. Then they have Yeager open up the third with a double, and they're in danger of leaving him. No score, third inning, 2 out. Holtzman, who averages about 3 earned runs a game. Buckner backs out. Now comes back up again. 3-2. Holtzman out of a windup. The left-hander deals. There's the drag bunt, and it's fielded by Holtzman to get it. So it was a good try by Buckner. He just didn't bring it enough to first base. And Holtzman was able to get off the mound and get him. No runs, 1 hit. The Dodgers leave Yeager at third. And at the end of 2.5 innings, no score.
I'm so darn smart, I went Chrysler.
Well, I was looking for a car, a kind of special car.
I'm so darn smart.
A car to count on for the driving that I do. A car that has the value, a car that has a style, a car that's built with lots of care to last a long, long while. A new, exciting car. The Chrysler Corporation gave me heart, 'cause it's built with lots of care, engineered to get you there. And you know what? I'm so darn smart. I'm so darn smart that I wait. I'm so darn smart. I saw the light. I've broken with the past. I bought a car that built the light. From Chrysler Corporation, and I was right. I'm so darn smart. I'm so darn smart. I went Chrysler, playing with Dodge. I'm so darn smart. I went Chrysler.
We go to the bottom of the third inning. Vin Scully along with Jim Simpson from the Oakland Coliseum, Game 4 of the World Series. The Dodgers no runs, 2 hits. They have left 2, stranding Buckner at second and Yeager at third. And the A's, no runs, 1 hit. They have left 1. Dick Green, whose dad is celebrating a birthday today, will lead it off. So the right-hand hitting second baseman climbs in. So it's Green, then the pitcher Holtzman and Campaneris. Over the top fastball, jumped in for a strike, 0-1. This time of the evening, 6:13 local time. The lights have not taken effect, so if you can throw a fastball, that's your pitch. Hard, but outside this time, and the count 1-1 to Dick Green. Andy, who works quickly, comes back over the top, and a breaking ball is swung on and missed. Green going after a pitch down and away. 1-2. Andy Messersmith reading Steve Yeager. Back he comes. Fast one foul back to the screen. Wind shading him slightly towards left center, so the big gap is in right center. The infield straightaway. 1-2 to Dick Green. Messersmith back to the plate high. Ball 2. Kenny Holtzman, pretty good hitting pitcher. Of course, you might remember he doubled in the first game of the series. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball rolled down to Russell. Bill fields it, lobs across to Garvey in time for the out. 1 away. Kenny Holtzman, a pretty good hitter with some power, so he commands a little respect as he comes up to the plate. Holtzman, against Messersmith in Los Angeles, got a change and pulled it inside third and was eventually squeezed in for a run. He looks at a pitch high. In fact, he was on base 3 times in Los Angeles on a walk, double, and a force play. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Fastball, pulled into left field. Back goes Buckner. Away back. He's gone. Kenny Holtzman, who has the power, hits one out. The third home run lifetime for Holtzman. And of course, the Dodgers had been warned. He doesn't surprise them. They knew he could swing the bat when he played for Chicago. The only surprise is that pitchers who have not been hitting all year hurt you in the World Series. The American League using the designated hitter, but Holtzman doing very well, thank you. He has a walk, a double, and a home run now in the World Series. And for the Dodgers, an ominous beginning, because as we mentioned in the opening remarks, in each of the playoff games and in each of the World Series games involving the Dodgers, the team scoring first has won. And the A's are on the board 1-0. So here is Bert Campaneris, hit by a pitch by Messersmith's first pitch. And he delivers a bunt in the air in foul ground. Garvey, Messersmith, and it's Messersmith. Andy breaking off the mound and fielding it in foul territory. 2 down. That'll bring up Bill North, switch hitting center fielder. So Andy Messersmith, like Catfish Hunter, a control pitcher who consequently serves up home runs. Catfish had given up 25 home runs going into last night's game. And of course he was touched up for the one by Buckner. Messerschmitt had allowed 24 home runs going into the first game, and he gave up one to Reggie Jackson. And now he gives one up to Kenny Holtzman. So Andy, who has been plagued by the home run ball, is bitten by it again, and the A's lead 1-0 in the third. The pitch to Bill North, in on the hands, ball one. 1 run, 2 hits for Oakland. No runs, 2 hits for the Dodgers. Messerschmitt comes back in the 1-0 pitch, the ground ball to Davy Lopes. Easy play. Davy throws him out, but the damage is done. A home run by the opposing pitcher, Kenny Holtzman. And at the end of 3, Oakland 1 and the Dodgers nothing.
11 p.m. A neat little row of houses sleep under the cover of quiet moonlight. A perfect rhythm of picket fences runs down the street. A finger of light traces the window of an unsuspecting bungalow. Up slides the window. Minutes later, 2 shadows make off with the treasures it took you years to collect. You walk in just after midnight. You call the cavalry. The Kemper Cavalry. Whether you own your own home or rent, the Kemper Insurance Companies and the independent agents who represent us will ride to your rescue. Fire, theft, or property damage, they'll be there. With professional 24-hour claim service, you'll find it's not only fast, it's fair. An independent agent near you is listed in the yellow pages under Kemper Insurance. The Kemper Insurance Companies. We're with you for the long ride.
3 innings in of this 4th game of the 1974 World Series, and the Dodgers, who had Buckner double in the first inning and Yeager double and get to third in the 3rd inning, find out it's the A's who get aboard, and from a rather unexpected quarter, a home run by starting pitcher Kenny Holtzman. So the Dodgers down 1-0, and it'll be Jimmy Wynn, Steve Garvey, and Joe Ferguson. We mentioned earlier, Wynn playing with a bad right hand. Holtzman ready to go to work to him, and the pitch to Jim. Fastball, a comebacker off Holtzman's glove, on the grass, picked up by Green, who throws him out. So Jimmy Wynn is out, 1-4-3, with Holtzman getting an assist. He was able to slow it down. And the batter is Steve Garvey. Garvey struck out in the first inning. Nothing will dampen his spirits today, including a World Series defeat or striking out 4 times. He's a brand new father for the first time. Holtzman ready in the pitch to Steve. Down and away, ball 1. 1-0 to Garvey. Joe Ferguson, who forgot his helmet, has to go back into the dugout to get a hard hat. The 1-0 pitch is low and inside, ball 2. 2-0. Holtzman looks down the barrel, getting a sign from Ray Fosse. Now the 2-0 fastball. He's late and grounds it into right field. So a good pitch by Holtzman. Really tied up Garvey. He was very late and he got a break. He singled into right field. Joe Rudy diving at the ball but couldn't come up with it. And that's the case of a big league pitcher making a very good pitch and of a big league hitter being tied up but strong enough to muscle his way to a hit. And Garvey can certainly do that. So the Dodgers with 3 hits, but the A's 1-0 lead. And here is Joe Ferguson. Garvey off the bag, held on by Rudy. And Holtzman delivers low, ball 1. 1 run, 2 hits for the A's. No runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. The A's more or less gentled you to death, at least so far in the series. Outside of the home run by Jackson and the home run tonight by Holtzman. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Joe Ferguson. Fastball away. Ball 2. 2-0. So Fergie has a look now at third base coach Tommy Lasorda. And we'll see if the Dodgers have a play in the works with Garvey off the bag. Holtzman ready and comes to the plate and low. Ball 3. Of all the Dodger hitters, Ferguson is given the green light to swing 3-0, more than any of the others. Of course, they're down 1-0. We'll see what he does 3-0 here. Ron Say on deck. And he gets the strike, 3-1. Fergie grounded out in the second inning to Dick Green. Now he has another look at Lasorda. 3-1 to count. Holtzman ready, comes back to the plate, high, ball 4. So the Dodgers have 2 doubles, a single, and a walk, but they're not on the scoreboard. With one swing of the bat by Kenny Holtzman, the A's are leading 1-0. And the batter is Ron Cey. Holtzman normally fine control. He'll average 2 walks a game. Here is Cey. Cey hit the ball hard in the second inning, lined out, hitting it straight at Bill North in center field. Holtzman delivers, and he's way out in front of an off-speed pitch. 0-1. Lasorda doing a little cheerleading and telling Cey to wait for the ball up and to more than anything else wait on it, which is ungrammatical but nevertheless fits the situation. The strike 1 pitch is fouled away, and Cey now immediately in a hole, 0-2. Steve Garvey at second, Joe Ferguson at first. Holtzman had an interesting quote in the paper today about the Dodgers, saying that they are the toughest team that they have faced. Meaning, of course, Cincinnati and the Mets in the previous World Series. Strike 2 curve is strike 3 call. Oh, did he break one off? Cey stays at the plate for a brief chat with Dinkinger, and down he goes. So Ron Cey is having a tough series. He is 1 for 12. It's the 3rd time he has struck out. And with 2 down, here is Bill Russell. So for Holtzman, he has reached his average. If you checked him through the year, well, he'd average about 4 strikeouts a game, and that's where he is. Russell takes low, ball 1. So a big breaking ball, and Cey caught looking to strike out. 1 ball and no strikes to Russell. Bill with 3 hits, checks up on a breaking ball, low, ball 2, 2-0. John Blue Moon Odom begins to warm up down in the A's bullpen. And I think the A's moved Rudy back a couple of steps. He was starting to move up too much at first base. 2-0, the count to Russell. Holtzman ready and deals. Fastball fouled away. Down the right field line and back into the crowd. And the count 2-1. For Bill Russell, he had 1 hit last night. He had a single in Vida Blues game, and he had a base hit against Holtzman. So his 3 hits, he's had 1 in each of the World Series games. Now the 2-1 pitch. High, dropped by Fosse, but the runners have to hold. It was a belated drop. Ray seemed to catch it and turn and then lose the ball. There was no chance for Garvey to even see. So he's standing at second and Ferguson at first. Holtzman is fighting his control a little bit, even though he has walked only 1. He has had several 3-ball counts, and he is not a finisher. In all of his World Series games, he's gone about 5 innings. 3-1 fastball is hit to right center field. Racing over is Jackson, but it goes through. North can't pick it up. In comes Garvey. Here comes Ferguson, and all the way to third is Russell. They'll hold him, and the Dodgers lead 2-1. Bill Russell drives one just inches away from Reggie Jackson, and you have to believe that Jackson on sound legs would have caught it, but he couldn't, nor could Bill North. And then it rolled to the wall. They had trouble getting it back in, and Russell took the extra base. And the Dodgers lead 2-1 in the 4th, and with 2 down, Russell continues to get at least 1 hit in the series. For Bill, he picks up his first 2 RBIs and his first extra base hit. So Russell triples home 2, and time call. Bando, I think, was coming in to holler something to Holtzman. Now Ray Fosse out to the mound to talk to Holtzman. The A's had trouble deep up against the right center field wall on that ball, but there has not been an error flashed, and we'll just assume it's a triple unless we hear otherwise. And now here's Yeager. The pitch, breaking ball, roll foul, outside of third and down the line, 0-1. So Bill Russell triples up the alley to put the Dodgers in front 2-1, and with 2 out, Yeager trying to pick him up. The strike 1 pitch to Steve. Breaking ball popped up around the plate. Fosse turning and comes back after it now and makes the catch. But the damage is done. The Dodgers get 2 runs, 2 hits, leave a man at third, And at the end of 3.5 innings, the Dodgers 2 and the A's 1.
Hello, this is Shelley Winters. Now listen, every woman likes a bargain, and there's an extra plus value in all women's and children's apparel that carry the label of the International Ladies Garment Workers Union. The ILGWU label assures you that the garments you buy were made in American factories under fair American standards. Insist on the ILGWU label in all women's and children's clothes that you buy. It's good for you, and it's good for America.
We're gonna take a lot of trips this season. To stores.
To school.
Out to the swimming pool. To the dentist. To the market. We will take our car and park it.
Short trips never give your car a chance to warm up and eliminate engine-damaging deposits. Short trips call for Quaker State Motor Oil. It gives quality protection against these harmful deposits. And now, when we need it more than ever, you can find it more places than ever.
Quaker State your car. To keep it running young.
We go to the bottom of the 4th inning, and for the first time, somebody comes from behind. We were telling you that the team to score first in the series has gone on to win. The A's scored in the 3rd, but now the Dodgers come back with 2 to take a 2-1 lead. Andy Messersmith about ready, and he'll get the heart of the A's lineup. That means Sal Bando, Reggie Jackson, and Joe Rudy. So the big 3 check in now, and Messersmith staked to a 2-1 lead. On a single by Garvey and a walk to Ferguson, and a 2-out triple by Bill Russell when Jackson and North had trouble with it. Here's Bando. Messersmith over the top with a breaking ball, and he missed inside. Bando struck out in the 1st inning. Bando is 0 for 11 in the series. Eddie comes back to him, and he's down and away. Ball players have an expression for striking out. They call it being punched out. And Bando, quote, has been punched out 3 times by Messersmith. The pitch inside. He got him twice in Los Angeles. That's a hungry hitter standing at home plate by the name of Sal Bando. And he has a look at Bobby Winkles on a 3-0 count to see if they have the cuffs on or not. Reggie Jackson waiting his turn on deck. Messersmith comes to the plate, and the fastball is low. So given a 1-run lead, he proceeds to walk the leadoff man in the 4th inning. And now some thunder coming up in Reggie Jackson. Reggie ripped the ball in the 2nd inning. He had a sinking line drive, just started to slice towards left center. Jimmy Wynn made a good play to stay with it. So Jackson is 0 for 1. Reggie, as he checks in, is 3 for 10. Garvey, with Jackson's pulling power, is not holding Bando. He's back of the bag, and Jackson fouls it off. 0-1. On deck, Joe Rudy. Bottom of the 4th inning. The Dodgers 2 runs, 4 hits. They have 2 doubles and a triple. And the A's 1 run, 2 hits. And one of their 2 hits a home run. And time call. Jackson backs out for a moment. 0-1 to Reggie. Bando a short lead at first. Messersmith right foot on the rubber, reading Yeager. And he ready, comes to the hitter, and the fastball is low. 1-1. Big ad in the papers here. Reggie's 1973 car is for sale. They have it described in the newspapers. Quite a car. 1-1 pitch, swung on and missed 1 and 2. It is green and gold. The seats have a big A on each seat for the A's. It has the World Series emblem on the car. And there's only 100 miles on it. I don't think he had the nerve to drive it after sounding the description. The 1-2 pitch, fastball, he's late and hits it foul down the left field line in the seats. We told you Garvey was very late on a good fastball by Holtzman, but single to right field. That was a good pitch by Messersmith, and Jackson hit it late and pretty far. 1-2. Bando off the bag. 2-1 Dodgers. 4th inning, nobody out, and Messersmith ready. 1-2 pitch over the top, and it's beaten foul into the dirt. Andy would appear to have good stuff, perhaps the same stuff as he had in Los Angeles. Whereas Jackson and the A's beat him, although the Dodger defense twice now has undermined pretty good pitching efforts. 1-2 pitch is high, dropped by Yeager, Bando holding it first, and the count 2-2. Certainly not a base-stealing threat. He stole 2 and he was caught 3, and they were probably all busted hit-and-run plays. 2-2 pitch is a change, swung on and missed, strike 3. So Reggie Jackson strikes out. That'll be 3 strikeouts for Andy Messersmith. And with 1 out, here is Joe Rudy. The A's play hit-and-run with Rudy. He's a good hitter with power and makes contact. So Joe had a quick look at Bobby Winkles to see if Dark might have put a play on. Garvey off the bag. Rudy taking his time before he climbs in. Although he plays for Oakland, he wears a 49er football T-shirt underneath that baseball uniform. And he deals fastball, little looper, right at Garvey, back over to Garvey, in time double play. Davy Lopes to Steve Garvey. Bando thought he had to play beaten. He tried to get back, and Lopes got him. So a double play, 4-3, and the A's are gone in the 4th at the end of 4. Dodgers 2, Oakland 1.
If you use ordinary batteries in your camera and they quit too soon to suit you, come to the top. If you use your radio almost all the time, but you don't want to be buying batteries all the time, come to the top of the Ever-Ready line. Come to the Ever-Ready Alkaline Power Cell, our best, longest-lasting power source. No ordinary battery ever made works so hard, so long. Repeat, no ordinary battery ever made works so hard, so long as the Ever-Ready Alkaline Power Cell. Now you can get a $1 refund on specially marked packages of Ever-Ready Alkaline Power Cell. Details at participating Ever-Ready dealers. Come to the top. Come to the Ever-Ready Alkaline Power Cell.
We pause 35 seconds for station identification.
Isaac Hayes and Pam Grier, the perfect match to set the screen on fire. Put them together and watch the sparks fly when Truck Turner meets Foxy Brown. When they get it on, the action takes off. Truck Turner and Foxy Brown together on one big show. Rated R, under 17, not admitted without parents.
Cousins, the World Series is brought to you in part by American International Pictures, who brings you Truck Turner, Foxy Brown, now playing at Showcase Theater right near you, WNBC, New York.
Andy Messersmith, leading off the 5th inning, swings at a fastball for a strike, and then Holtzman comes back with a breaking ball to quickly jump it 0-2. And he's again with a breaking ball on the corner, strike 3 call. So Andy Messersmith barely got up to the plate when he turned around and walked back. 1 down, and Davy Lopes the batter. That will be 5 strikeouts for Kenny Holtzman. Messersmith has 3. Davy Lopes flied to center and struck out. The Dodgers, even though they are leading 2-1, have left 3 men in scoring position. Lopes hits the ball foul back of the plate, 0-1. They left Buckner, who doubled with 1 out in the 1st inning. They left Yeager, who doubled leading off the 3rd. And then they left Russell, who tripled with 2 out in the 4th. Holtzman, strike 1 pitch, slow and over, strike 2. Kenny has pitched a marvelous game, especially with a runner in scoring position. He struck out Wynn with Buckner at 2nd. He struck out Lopes with Yeager at 3rd. Pitch fouled at the plate, so it's still 0-2. Kenny Holtzman and Ray Fosse, the battery for the A's. Joe Rudy and Dick Green, Bert Campaneris, and Sal Bando. In the outfield, Claudell Washington in left, Billy North in center, Reggie Jackson in right. And Gino Tennis on the wood in the dugout. 0-2 to Davy. Holtzman working from the third base side of the rubber. Ken ready in the strike 2 pitch. Fastball low, ball 1. 1-2. Don Denkinger working his first World Series, cleaning off home plate. Bill Buckner on deck. A magnificent evening. Some of the clouds turning pink now at sunset time overhead. And the pitch is low to Lopes, ball 2, 2-2. It is a hot summer's night. This late in October, and of course that's good news for everybody involved. 2-2 to Davy. One away in the 5th inning. Dodgers 2, Oakland 1. Holtzman into the windup, and the 2-2 serve is a high chopper over the mound down to Campaneris. He has to get rid of it in a hurry and does it all well. Good play by Bert. 2 down. Bill Buckner coming up. Buckner had the wrong field double, lifting a high fly ball down into the left field corner that was dropped by Claudell Washington after a long run. And then in the 3rd inning, with 2 out and Yeager at third, he went 3-2 with Holtzman and tried to drag for a base hit. But instead, he bunted back to the pitcher, and Kenny threw him out. The pitch to Buckner. He swings, golfs it foul outside of first, and the count 0-1. Buckner waiting. Holtzman looks down to read Fosse. The left-hander's next one is popped up on the right side, and Rudy allows Dick Green to go back of him, and Greeny inside the foul line makes the catch, and the Dodgers are gone quickly in the top of the 5th. And the score at the end of 4.5 innings, Dodgers 2, Oakland 1.
Who makes it go? Now does the breeze. While out at sea. Great taste in tobacco from 5 different countries. To forest water, you ought to know. You ought to know. Why out at sea.
Today we're driving the big family car less as we use our gas-saving small car more. Now, an underused car doesn't always get enough exercise to eliminate harmful engine deposits, so it needs quality protection, like Quaker State Motor Oil, made to protect against harmful deposits. Quaker State is now available more places than ever. It's one good thing we don't have to give up.
Quaker State your car to keep it running young.
Well, we've got 4.5 innings in the books. The Dodgers 2 runs, 4 hits, and no errors. They have left 3. Oakland 1 run, 2 hits, and no errors. They have left but 1. There's been a home run by Kenny Holtzman. There have been doubles by Buckner and Yeager, and a 2-run producing triple by Bill Russell. So we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Dodgers 2, Oakland 1. And for more play-by-play, here's Jim Simpson.
Thank you, Ben. Claudell Washington leads off the last of the 5th inning. He beat out an infield hit to Bill Russell back in the 2nd inning. Claudell, a late replacement for Gene Tennis out in left field. And as we reported to you, when we found out why Rudy had gone from left to first base and Claudell had gone out to left field, called the bench, Alvin Dark's answer was, Tennis is not in the lineup tonight. And that's as far as we've been able to get. We do know that Tennis did throw his helmet last night when removed for a pinch runner. Messerschmitt to work to the left-handed Washington, who swings and misses with a high change. But we also know, of course, that Washington does swing from the left side. And it might be that manager Alvin Dark or his owner Charles O'Finley wanted another left-handed swinger in there. Little line drive over the head of Russell, and Washington is 2 for 2. Base hits to left center. That's the 3rd hit of Andy Messerschmitt, who leads in the ball game 2-1 and brings up Fosse, who is 0 for 10 in the series, and in the 2nd inning struck out swinging at a good Messerschmitt fastball. Our score 2-1, last of the 5th. The first 3 games have gone 3-2. Oakland won the 1st and 3rd, the Dodgers the 2nd. Andy Messerschmitt with that good move. Washington has some speed, but not a real threat to go. High and tight, backing Fosse out of there. And it's ball 1. Walking out on deck is Dick Green. Washington with a very short lead off first base, being held on by Garvey. Messerschmitt comes to the plate, and there's another line drive. This will drop in between them. Washington on his way around second base. Ball is picked up by Wynn, who hustles in with it and then throws underhand to Russell as Washington stops at second. And Fosse has his first hit of the series. Tying run down at second base. Go ahead run on at first with none out in a 2-1 ball game. and Dick Green due up. Green can handle the bat at the plate. And let's see whether or not he's up there to move them over. Walter Austin's going to walk out and have a conversation with Andy Messerschmidt. Thus far, nobody has gotten up at the Dodgers bullpen. For a moment, Blue Moon Odom was out and throwing for the A's. And now there's some stirring down in the Dodger bullpen. And Jim Brewer, who was up and throwing last night, is up and throwing again. Brewer got into pitch to one batter last night. Yeager is on the mound along with Walter Austin, Andy Messerschmidt, Dick Green walking around. Bobby Winkles walked all the way down to second base to say a few words to his base runner down there, Cordell Washington. A frisbee thrown from the stands and lands behind first place, and so that becomes the duty of Andy Olson to pick that up. And now Don Denkinger of the American League says, "That's enough, fellas," and walks up to the mound to get him to break it up. Zahn has also gotten out and started to throw. Jeff Zahn, like Brewer, a left-handed pitcher. Washington led off with a single, moved to second on Fosse's single in the last of the fifth. And now Messerschmidt looks around to his shortstop, Bill Russell, nods to him, and Dick Green steps in. Ron Say in on the grass at third base. And, of course, Garvey does not have to hold Fosse on at first, but Washington down at second. Green stands in, squares around the bunt, bunts up the first base line. Garvey lets it go foul. Good bunt. Garvey, I don't believe, could have made a play to third base, and so wisely let it go foul with the runner still in front of him. Strike one to Dick Green, who bounced to Russell at shortstop his only other time up. Green has been up 9 times in the series without a base hit. And last night, of course, he initiated 3 double plays. Now Green leans on his bat and stares down to Bobby Winkles, the former coach at Arizona State, the former manager of the California Angels, now the third base coach. Green with a signal steps in. Messerschmidt into the stretch. The strike one pitch. He squares around again about. Garvey comes off the back, has to go to first base as the runners move up. Sacrifice bunt complete. Garvey tossing on the ropes to get Green. And that'll bring up pitcher Ken Holtzman, who got a high Messerschmitt fastball and drilled it over the left field wall for the only run thus far of the A's. Now Holtzman can handle that also. The infield comes in. A bounding ball could help Holtzman if it finds one of the big gaping holes now that the infield has been drawn in. Dodgers 2, A's 1. We're the last of the fifth with one out. Messerschmitt throws a fastball at the knees at the strike. Holtzman, who appeared to be taking all the way. Now he looks down to Winkles. Washington, a short lead off third. Fosse, short lead off second. Messerschmitt back throws a breaking ball. It misses outside. And it's 1-1. It's like a slider that stayed outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. They Ken Holtzman. Brewer and Zahn continue to heat up in the bullpen for the Dodgers. Here's strangeness when you consider Holtzman pitching a fine game, of course. He already has a home run, but remember, he didn't bat in 1974 because he's a designated hitter. Here he up in a big spot, swings and foul tips the ball at the plate. And it's 2 strikes to Ken Holtzman. 1 ball, 2 strikes with Campy Campaneris on deck. All World Series games thus far have been low-scoring affairs. 5 runs in each of them, 3-2 in each of them. And this one's only had 3 runs through the first 4.5 innings. A sign of good pitching. Messerschmitt ready again. Garvey continues to look for the possible bunt. The pitch just missed inside. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. A little low. Garvey in on the grass at first base, just in case with a 2-strike count. Holtzman will try to lay one down. He can handle the bat as good as any pitcher around. 2-2 the count. High. And he's gone to a 3-2 count on the pitcher, Ken Holtzman. The scoreboard in the left field area flashes "do it" to Holtzman, who steps out. Ken glanced down to Bobby Winkles, but did not step out looking for a sign. Really just stepped out. Messersmith ready and throws and strikes him out swinging. Fastball in the letters, and that is strikeout number 4 for Messersmith. And more importantly, it's the second out with Washington at third and Fossey at second. And Campaneris comes up. Campy tonight was hit by the first pitch of the ball game by Messersmith, and then tried to bunt in a third inning on the first pitch, and popped it up foul to Messersmith, who took it in foul territory. So he's seen 2 pitches, been hit, and has popped out. He is 4 for 12 in the series, and has had a couple of good sacrifice bunts, including a squeeze that squeezed home Ken Holtzman in the first game of the series. Messersmith now going to his full windup with 1 out, and his fastball is up high, and it's 1 ball, no strikes. He'll concentrate solely on Campy Campaneris. This out, and he's out of the inning, and maintains the 2-1 lead. Back again, missing again high. It's 2-0. Zahn and Brewer have slowed their warm-ups in the Dodger bullpen somewhat. Brewer is simply looking into what's going on. Two balls, no strikes to Campaneris. Billy North is the on-deck batter. Let's see if Campy's swinging in 2-0. He is, and missing. 2 balls, 1 strike. North has only had 1 base hit in 12 trips. As a matter of fact, when he got his first base hit of this series, he said, "At least now I'm 1 for something in World Series play." The 2-1 pitch from Messersmith is grounded foul, and Winkles one-hands it in the third base coaching box, tosses it to Say, who keeps it in play. 2-2 to Campaneris. Campaneris has 2 RBIs in the series. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2-1 the score. The Dodgers were in the last of the 5th. Messersmith from the windup throws, and it misses outside. And now we have 3-2 with 2 outs. The crowd alive here at the Oakland Coliseum. Both Alston and Dark are on the top steps of their respective dugouts. Messersmith back and throws, and the ball is hit high to left field. Over is Butler, waving off. Wynn, and grabs it about 10 feet in front of the warning track. Now Messersmith and the Dodgers get out of it. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and men left at second and third at the end of 5. It's Los Angeles 2, Oakland 1.
Enough is enough. America, take your pick. Rickles or Right Guard. This country's not big enough for both of us. You know, my act is making people sweat. But how can I make you sweat if you're always using Right Guard antiperspirant? Right Guard has a super dry anti-stain formula to help keep you dry. I'm trying to get you hot and bothered, and Right Guard helps keep you cool. One of us has got to go. It's up to you. Rickles or Right Guard. You'd rather have Rickles. Wouldn't you?
Injector shavers, want real comfort from your shave? Then join the revolution. The one Gillette started by inventing twin injector blades. And now there's the Gillette Twin Injector Razor, the only razor with an exclusive Comfort Guard bar to set up a twin blade injector shave that's safe, close, and smooth. Now that's comfort. So join the injector revolution. Get the Gillette Track 2 Twin Injector Razor and blades.
Along with Ben Scully, this is Jim Simpson back in Oakland, California for Game 4 of the World Series. The Dodger win tonight, and that ensures the fact that we will go back to Los Angeles for at least 1 more game on Saturday. And we'd like to say a special hello to all of you, not only listening on the 450 stations across our country, but around the world, in Europe and Asia, in Japan and South America. We have received word of our World Series telecasts in other years from beneath the polar ice cap from a nuclear submarine. Our All-Star game brought us letters from our Air Force men flying between Korea and Japan, and we hear from many of you, and we appreciate it so much. The 6th inning for the Dodgers will be Jim Wynn, Steve Garvey, and Joe Ferguson. Dodgers up by a run over Kenny Holtzman, who already has pitched more innings tonight than he did in game number 1 on Saturday afternoon when he lasted 4 1/3 innings. Jimmy Wynn questioned whether or not he would start tonight because the injured hand struck out swinging at a Holtzman change in the first inning and then hit the first pitch in the fourth off the glove of Holtzman. Green came over very quickly, made a good play, and threw him out. So Wynn is now 2 for 13 and takes a pitch low, ball 1. One of Wynn's hits was a 2-out home run in the first game, and last night, an unusual thing for him, he got a single to right field. Now a drive out towards center field. Over quickly comes Billy North, and down he goes. Has to pick it up. It's safe as it rolls away. Picked up by Washington. The throw to second base, and in with a double is Wynn. The fifth base hit. North had a good long run. The left center field dove with a sinking line drive and could not hold on to it. And with a 2-1 lead, the Dodgers have the leadoff man at second base here in the 6th. And up comes Garvey. Single to right in the 4th and scored. Struck out swinging at a Holtzman curveball back in the 1st. Garvey has 6 base hits in the series, more than anybody else, and he is one of the Dodgers that will go to right field. He'll go with the pitch. Holtzman in with a change-up breaking ball that's fouled at the plate. Strike 1. Joe Ferguson swinging a bat on deck. And John Blue Moon Odom has gotten up to throw once more in the A's bullpen. Dodgers lead by 1 in the 6th, but they've got a runner on at second. They're playing Garvey in respect to the fact that he can go the other way almost absolutely straight away. If anything, North is a shade toward right in center. Ground ball, Bando looks the man back to second, throws on to first base to Rudy. Wynn stays there as Garvey is out. 1 out of the 6th, and that'll bring up Ferguson. Dick Green made a fine play on the ground ball of Ferguson's to lead off the second and threw him out. And then Ferguson, on a 3-1 pitch, drew ball 4 from Kenny Holtzman in the 4th inning and later scored ahead of the Bill Russell triple. That's been the story. The Russell triple driving in Garvey and Ferguson in the 4th, and Ken Holtzman's bases empty home run in the 3rd. Holtzman from the stretch, Win a good base runner down at second base. Breaking pitches down low and inside. Holtzman has misstepped his pitches very well tonight. He's thrown the changeup, he's thrown the breaking ball, both slot and curve, and he has spotted his fastball very well. He's only walked one man, but as so often happens, that man, if that right now, Ferguson in the 4th, scored. 1 ball, no strikes, and he's back with a curveball strike called. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ferguson, a hero of the first game and a losing cause for the Dodgers, with his outstanding throw from center field to nail Bando at the plate. In the second game, he had a 2-run home run. In the 3rd game last night, well, you know the story there. A couple of errors. Here's a pitch, breaking ball inside. A pass ball, and he struck out a couple of times. On deck is Ron Say. The weather has been outstanding. A little concern here in the Bay Area for smog. That's usually something you hear in the Los Angeles area. But in Oakland today, they have smog warnings. 2-1 pitch, grounded high, hop to Bando, looks Wynn back to second again, and easily has the slow-moving Ferguson. 2 out, with Wynn still anchored at second base. And Ron Say, 0 for 2 tonight, 1 for 12 in the series, 2 up. In the second, Say drove North deep for his line drive, and then with an 0-2 count in the 4th, the Holtzman curve broke off sharply and had him fooled all the way, and he struck out. Holtzman has struck out 5, given up 5 hits, the 2 runs and 1 base on balls. Fosse is out to the mound to have a brief talk to Holtzman. Ron Say, the Penguin. That's what they call him. Short, stocky, right-handed hitter. One of the best natured players in all of baseball. Holtzman looks back to Jim Wynn. And throws a breaking ball. It gets away from Fosse. Wynn is on his way to third. Fosse does not have a throw. Looks as though he might have, but came up and changed his mind. Campaneris and Washington were backing up at third base, but Fosse chose not to make a throw. The ball was down in the dirt, and it is called a wild pitch. Fosse blocked it. It went shortly, just a short distance from the plate off to the left, and I thought he might throw, but he did not. Ball 1 to Say. Holtzman back, and there's a line drive to Bando on a short hop. Picks it up, and he'll make his 3rd assist of the game in this inning. No runs, 1 hit. No errors, and Wynn left at third base. We go to the last of the sixth. Dodgers 2, A's 1.
Chuck Turner and Foxy Brown together on one big show. Rated R. Under 17. Not admitted without parents.
World Series brought to you in part by American International Pictures, who brings you Truck Turner and Foxy Brown, now playing in the Showcase Theater right near you. You're listening to WNBC Radio, New York.
There is 1 for 12 for the series, 0 for 2 tonight. Switch hitter takes a strike, batting from the left side from Andy Messersmith. The right-handed Dodger pitcher has a 2-1 lead as we begin the Oakland 6th. Bando is on deck. Say in on the grass. North tried to bunt his way on back in the first inning. He's thrown out and thrown out again by Lopes in the third. Pitch misses outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Messersmith with a good fastball. Then Scully said when he's got the curve, he strikes a lot out. And a wonderful, wonderful change. Fastball in under the chin. Gene Walker of the Montreal Expos said, Andy Messersmith is the only pitcher I know that can overpower a ball club with a changeup. It is that good. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for Los Angeles. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for Oakland. North with a 2-1 count, swings at a fastball and misses it. 2-2. Have a 2-strike. Say backs up a little bit at third base, as does Garvey over at first base. Figuring perhaps now North with a 2-strike count will not be bunting. And he foul tips the pitch. Yeager can't hold on to it, and it might have shaken up Steve a little bit. Walks around, asks Don Menkisher for a new ball, and he'll walk it off a little bit. Walks up. Tomorrow's pitcher, Don Sutton, who's won 12 in a row and 15 of his last 16, dating back to after the All-Star game against Vida Blue, who pitched magnificently in the playoff series against Baltimore, but was a victim in Los Angeles Sunday. Messersmith throws a good fastball in on the hand. Yeager thrown out with strike 3, but it's ball 3. 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes. North said his lack of hitting, he did take home with him there for a while. He's a better hitter, he says, and Messersmith misses up high with a change and walks him. His second walk. And that'll bring up Bando. Was 1 for 11 in the series. In the 4th inning, walked on 4 pitches, and after Jackson struck out, Rudy sent a little soft blooper to Lopes at second base, and Bando almost idled back to first base and was easily picked off on a play on which he shouldn't have been picked off. Power hitter. And fouls the first one away. Bando during the regular season had 22 home runs and 103 RBIs. He hasn't had a hit since his home run in the 3rd game of the American League Series, which won it for Vida Blue, 1-0 over Baltimore. 1 strike to Bando. I won it. Now with 2 strikes, let's see if North is going. And even North back to first base. Messersmith throws over there. Figure with 2 strikes, he might now be going. North with a fair lead. Now walks on the rest of the 7.5. Does not go, and it's a ball foul. Pulled way into the upper seats of left field. Still 2 strikes to Bando. Out in front of a Messersmith team. Still 0-2. They play Bando way around to the left. Again, the throw to first. Low. Garvey digs it out, and North is back in plenty of time. Another throw. Diving back, and he just did get back. Messersmith put a couple of good moves on Campaneris back in the first inning, but this is the best move of the night as far as I'm concerned, as North really had to dive back to get under that. 0-2. Again, he throws over this time. He can get back, just running back. He does not have to dive. North 54 stolen bases this year, 53 last year. Dodgers lead it by a run. Bando has a count of 0-2. North Kind of a short lead is not scoring. The pitch is the fastball inside, and we reminded, of course, that Yeager has a habit of throwing behind the runner. So North has to be extra careful, even though Messersmith does come to the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Another throw over to first base. The ball gets by. It's going to go down to second base. But through Garvey, and down to second goes off with the tying run. That time the ball was low and in the dirt. Garvey, who has made some marvelous saves of throws from his infielders throughout the series, couldn't dig it out. So Messersmith draws the throwing error. Ando now with a count of 1-2. Looking for his first base hit of the series, which could conceivably tie this game up. Messersmith throws and is fouled away. But the potential double play is off, and so Bando, Jackson, and Rudy, the 3, 4, 5 batters in the Oakland lineup, all have a shot at scoring Bill North, who's down at second with none out. Back with the pitch. It's pulled foul high toward the seats. They're giving chase. Russell down there and watching it drop into the seats about 4 rows deep behind the Oakland bullpen. North down at second base is the sole responsibility of Andy Messersmith. He lost him on a 3-2 pitch and walked him, and then after numerous pickoff attempts, threw Wild and in the dirt. So Messersmith put him on, and then Wild pitched him down to second base, getting a bad throw over to first base. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes to Bando. Bando's been up there for about 4 or 5 minutes, fouling off pitches that Messersmith has been throwing over to first base. On the stretch, Messersmith throws, and as a ball loops out to right field, over comes Ferguson. Around third comes North. He will score. It's a 2-2 ball game as Bando gets his first base hit of the series and ties it up. Jammed, he hit it the other way. A tie ball game in Oakland, California in game number 4. And Reggie Jackson, 0 for 2 tonight. 3 for 11 in the series coming up. Jimmy Wynn made a wonderful running catch on him back in the second inning, backhanding the ball in left center field, and then Messersmith with one of his famous changeups got Jackson swinging in the 4th. 0 for 2 tonight. But he did hit that hanging slider for a home run against Messersmith back in the first game of the series. Bando, not a speedster at first base. Pitches outside, and so Garvey is not really holding him on the bag, but rather a step or 2 behind Bando, and then as Messersmith goes into a stretch, Garvey jumps off the bag a little bit, since Jackson is a left-handed batter and is liable to fire it down that way. Fastball misses high and away, and it's 2-0 to Jackson. Nobody working at the moment in either bullpen. Braun and Brewer have been throwing for the Dodgers. Odom has been throwing for the A's. Back again with a fastball, and it's too low, and it's 3-0 to Reggie Jackson, who looks to Bobby Winkle, the coach of third base. Dodgers 2, A's 2, last of the 6. Could it be another 3-2 ball game? We've had 3 already. The 3-0 pitch. Jackson is taking all the way and walks. On 4 pitches, Jackson walks, and that gets the Dodger bullpen busy as Bando drops down to second base. And Joe Rudy comes up. The 3rd walk for Messersmith. Ron Say walks in as Brewer and Zahn again begin to throw. Now Steve Yeager's going out. Rudy tonight has grounded out, and here comes Walter Alston, walking very slowly toward Messersmith on the mound. Rudy is a right-handed batter, of course. There are 2 left-handed pitchers out there. Brewer possessed of the screwball. And so now again we have a conference. As Joe Rudy digs up the dirt in the batter's box, And Austin talks things over with Andy Messersmith. Bobby Winkles walked down to talk to his runner at second base, Sal Bando. It's time to talk. Everybody's talking to everybody else. Messersmith apparently is going to stay in. Walking around, he still has the baseball in his possession as Austin walks back. Still not out of the Oakland 6. 1 run in and 2 runners on. And Joe Rudy, one of the top men in slugging percentage and total bases in the American League with 22 home runs and 99 RBI, steps in to face Andy Messersmith. Rudy is 4 for 14. He's grounded out and lined softly into a double play. Squares around the bunt and bunts it foul. The Dodgers, who chose not to bunt in the top of the 6th inning. Joe Rudy, one of their sluggers, up, and they have the bunt sign off, trying to move Bando to third and Jackson down to second. Strike 1 to Rudy. They play Rudy, at least Wynn does, the other way over in right center field. Say in on the grass now, third. Garvey sneaking in. He's around the bunt again. Bunt towards Garvey. Garvey turns around and now flips over to first base. Took a look at third. Bando has a good jump, and Rudy can complete the good sacrifice toss. And that'll bring up the youngster, Cordell Washington. A surprise starter tonight, and he's 2 for 2. Got a base hit off Russell's glove in the second, and singles to left field in the 5th. First base is open with 1 out. Washington up and Fosse on deck. Our score is 2-2, and again, John and Brewer continue to throw it out in the Dodger bullpen. And they're going to put on Cordell Washington to load him up. Naturally looking for the double play possibility. The play to any base for the double play if the ball is hit to the infield. Fosse coming up has struck out, swinging at a fastball in the second, and he singled also in the 5th. That was a time of frustration for the A's when they had the first 2 men on. Moved them up on a sacrifice bunt, but then Messersmith got tough and struck out Holtzman and got Campaneris on a fly to deep left center field. Ball 4, and now Cordell Washington becomes the third base runner. Our score is 2-2. Fosse is walking back, bat in hand. And it looks like Jim Holt, a left-handed swinger, will come up. Holt is not a long ball hitter by any stretch of the imagination, but he does make contact on the ball. Former Minnesota Twin. And in the series is 1 for 2. Throughout the regular season, Holt hit .234 with Minnesota and with Oakland. That's total. Alvin Dark makes a move here, and let's see once he does, when the next inning rolls around, whether or not we will see Gene Tennis in the lineup after all, in the role of a catcher instead of a first baseman. Of course, Holt could stay in and play at first base. Rudy could move back to left field, and Tennis would come in and catch. Right now, with a 2-2 score and 1 out in the 6th, Bando is over at third base, Jackson down at second, and Cordell Washington on at first. And Jim Holt the batter. Left-hander facing right-hander. First pitch misses, ball 1. Messersmith has walked 4, 3 in this inning, 1 intentionally. And as so often happens, that's the cause of the trouble. One ball pitch is fouled over toward the A's dugout. Holt hit that off the end of his bat. Dodgers 2, Oakland 2. Brewer is not throwing as hard out in the bullpen as Zahn. Now he resumes his throwing. Messersmith back, and as the ball hit foul past Winkles in the third base coaching box. 1 ball, 1 strike. And again, Holt just did barely get that on the end of his bat. Count is 1-2. Messersmith pauses to get some dirt from between his cleats and now steps on. Pitching from the stretch with the bases loaded, throws too low, and it's 2-2 to Jim Holt. Jackson during deep knee bends down at second base. Reggie's always doing something. Ground ball up the line, and it is picked up foul by Yeager, who stares at Bando, and we recall that Bando ran into him when Ferguson threw home on a Jackson fly ball to center field in game number 1. And so they came face to face again, and Yeager had some fluid on his knee from one collision, and so they had a few words. And Bando was laughing, as was Yeager, as they went back to their respective positions. So it's 2-2 to Holt. Messerschmitt throws, and there's a line drive toward left field. It's in there for a base hit. Bando will score. Jackson is coming toward the plate. Here comes the throw to the plate. The tag, he is safe as he slides past it. Yeager gets mad and begins to yell at umpire Don Denkinger. Out comes Walter Alston, but it's 4-2. Oakland leads on the pitch hit. Single by Jim Holt. Going on to third base is Cordell Washington. Solid base hit. Makes all runs earned. Alston still talking. Tom Gorman, the veteran of the crew, came in from third base, the National League umpire, to calm down Walter Alston. The play came home. The throw looked almost on time, but Jackson took the outside slide, and as Yeager came around, he couldn't quite get to it. Jackson with a fine slide on the foul screen side of home plate. Slid around the tag, not actually around it. Yeager could not get around in time to make the tag. Fine throw from the outfield by Ferguson, but Jackson is safe. Walter Alston is still out, yelling toward Tom Gorman. Don Denkinger, the umpire who made the call, is behind the plate, and Steve Yeager is demonstrating to him by kicking at the dirt, perhaps intimating that maybe Jackson did not get the plate at all. Alvin Dark has come out to talk to Bobby Winkles and to his next batter, Dick Green. With runners at first and third, the infield comes in, and the A's, who lead 2-1 in the World Series, now have a 4-2 lead here in the last of the sixth of game number 4. Ron Shea walks over. Winkles is talking to the youngster Cordell Washington at third base. Runners at first and third. Now Holt is coming in from first base, and he gets a hand. Billy North, the first out to greet him. And we're going to have a pinch runner over at first base for Jim Holt. The pinch runner has not yet arrived, but there he goes. Herbie Washington picked off in the ninth inning of the second game on Sunday by a superb move by Mike Marshall. Now to run again. 3 runs have scored, and that's the most that is scored in any inning of the 1974 World Series. And remember, the A's have been known to squeeze with a man at third base. And Green can bunt, and Washington can run, and that's the reason for a lot of that conversation. Infield that was in now goes back. Messerschmitt throws over to first base, and Herb Washington is back. One quipster said yesterday when Washington was run in to run for tennis, there are 90 feet between the bases, that if he had had to steal, he would have to go 91 feet to make it. But he is not straying too far off first base. The second move by Messerschmitt, and again, he did not throw over there too hard. Remember, Marshall set him off by stepping off a couple of times and then lobbing some throws over before the quick snap throw. Coming to the plate, and Green is swinging. Russell down to Lopes at second, back to first base, not in time. The run scores, and it's 5-2. Green drives in a run. Slow roller that Russell really had no chance to do anything more with than to get one. The 5th run, and the 4th of this inning, and it's 5-2. And now the 8th man is coming to bat, Ken Holtzman, with Herbie Washington on at first base. And 2 out. Messerschmitt throws, and it's in under the hands to Holtzman. And for the first time this late in the game that I can remember, and I'm sure that some of you can check me, but this late in a World Series game, lo and behold, Oakland not only leads, but they have out-hit the opposition, the Dodgers. They've got 6 hits to the 5 of the Dodgers. Next pitch from Messerschmitt down low, and he's gone 2-0 to Holtzman, who homered in the 3rd on a high fastball and struck out swinging in the 5th. Messerschmitt throws, ground ball toward the hole. Up with it is Russell to second base, and he's got Washington. Makes that green at second base, of course, as Washington was erased. Dick Reed did not get down there in time, and a good play by Bill Russell, who goes in the hole. But 4-run score on 2 base hits. There were 3 walks and 1 left. At the end of 6, Oakland 5, Los Angeles 2.
Morning, Mr. Green. Say, haven't seen this big car in a spell.
Nowadays, Caleb, we use our small car mostly.
You know, this big engine might not be getting the exercise it needs.
Exercise?
Yup, to get rid of harmful engine deposits. Make sure you're using Quaker State motor oil. It's fortified to fight deposit buildup.
Is Quaker State still available in most places?
Yup, because people need it now more than ever.
Quaker State your car. You keep it running on. Who makes the car? Now there's the dream. While out at sea. Great taste in tobacco from 5 different countries. To Florida, y'all to know. Y'all to know. Why all that
With Vin Scully, Jim Simpson back in Oakland, California. It is 5-2. We do have the change since Fosse was batted for. Larry Haney, one-time bonus boy for the Baltimore Orioles way back in the early 60s, and a fine defensive catcher comes on to do the catching. Alvin Dart's team now has a 3-run lead, and Gene Tennis remains on the bench. What they need now is to shut out the Dodgers and take a 3-1 lead. And Dark is playing things very cozy as Paul Lindblad, a left-hander, and Raleigh Fingers, a right-hander, have already begun to throw here, and Holtzman has just completed his warm-ups. Bando comes over. Haney comes out to talk to Holtzman as he will face Russell, Yeager, and perhaps the pinch hitter here in the 7th inning, as Walter Alston now needs runs for his Dodgers. Bill Russell is the only Dodger not only to hit in every World Series game, but in every playoff game. So he has hit successfully in 7 games thus far in postseason play. Russell tonight has grounded out. Now loops one up high in center field. Billy North going back. He was playing over in right center field. Goes over to left center field and hauls it in. And there's 1 out on the Dodgers 7th. And that'll bring up Steve Yeager.
All right. Catcher Steve Yeager.
Tom Paciorek is coming out on deck and will bat for Messerschmitt. Yeager doubled off the wall back in the 3rd inning. Went to 3rd on a sacrifice bunt, but like so many Dodger runs in this series, there he stayed as Lope struck out and Buckner grounded out. Takes a strike from Ken Holtzman. One strike to Holtzman with 1 out on the 7th. 5-2, Oakland. Breaking ball misses down low. Messerschmitt, the penalty is gone. If Holtzman should complete this game, he would become the first World Series pitcher in 18 games to go ahead and be a complete game pitcher. 1 ball, 1 strike. Back to Yeager, misses outside. And guess who is throwing down on the bullpen for the Los Angeles Dodgers? When in doubt, you go to Mike Marshall, who, if there is a 6th game, could be the starter. 2-1. Foul ball inside the bag at 3rd, making 3rd base coach Tom Lasorda jump out of the way. And it's 2-2. Holtzman back and swings and misses with a breaking pitch. That's a foul tip, says umpire Don Denkinger. So the count hangs at 2-2. Holtzman, the left-hander, long-time National Leaguer in the Chicago Cubs organization, comes back and changes and strikes him out. Strikeout victim number 6 for Ken Holtzman, and that'll bring up the choice. Now, as Ben told you, played quite a bit earlier in the season, alternating out in right field. A .240 hitter. He has been up once in the series and failed to get on. 2 outs, none on in the 7th. Tomorrow's pitchers, Vida Blue and Don Sutton, who has won 12 in a row. Blue said before this game the series will end here in Oakland on Thursday, and I'm going to pitch the clincher. Oakland back, ground ball toward the shortstop Campaneris. Up with it, fires on to first base, and that's about the strongest that Holtzman has been in the ballgame, getting the lower half of the batting order to be sure. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left. They go to the last of the 7th. Oakland 5 and the Dodgers 2.
A marksman slips a .30 caliber bullet into the chamber of a high-powered rifle. He squints through the telescopic sight, lines up the crosshairs on an object 40 yards away. It's a master padlock, locked tight. He squeezes the trigger and blasts a half-inch hole clear through the lock, but it still holds tight. A test of strength filmed for TV and documented in a brochure titled Shootout at Little Tujunga Canyon. You can have a copy free by writing to Master Lock, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53210. And remember, Master has a lock for most anything worth keeping, even special locks for trailers, guns, bikes, and skis. Master Lock, world's largest padlock manufacturers, known for locks that are tough under fire.
Coliseum, as is their custom, singing God Bless America as they began their half of the lucky 7th inning. Mike Marshall, this is the 4th World Series game, and here's Marshall for the 4th time. Before tonight, he's pitched 4 innings, had 1 save, allowed no runs at all, 3 base hits, and that's been about it. He has been most effective against the A's, and he's going to try to keep this close with the hope that the Dodgers can catch up to Kenny Holtzman. During the regular season, Marshall appeared in 106 games, 115 lost 12, 2.42, and I'm sure you know he's got an excellent screwball, and that screwball sets up a fine fastball, and very often he'll get his man with the fastball. Marshall, the former professor at Michigan State, has a couple of students here tonight, including Steve Garvey over at first base, and Herb Washington is a runner at first base. Marshall was also in the final game of the playoffs, so this is his 5th consecutive appearance, but that's nothing new for Mike. Campaneris leads off the 7th. Is 0 for 2 tonight and was hit by Nessersmith's first pitch of the night. Nessersmith worked 6 innings, gave up all 5 runs, 6 base hits, struck out 4, and walked 4. Doug Rao is now down and throwing in the bullpen for the Dodgers. High and inside, and Campaneris has to hit the dirt. The A's scored more runs in the 6th inning than any team has scored in any one game of the series thus far. They scored 4 times. Ball 1 to Campaneris. Fastball misses. Well, will it go to the shoulders of Don Sutton tomorrow? In game number 5, he's won 12 in a row. 2-0. Messersmith comes back with the fastball. It's fouled out of play. Sutton was not going well in the early part of the season, 6 and 8 before the All-Star break. And when someone asked him about pressure, he said, "Pressure? You should have been around when my 5-year-old went out on the balcony and started screaming to the neighbors, 'Daddy's not pitching well anymore. We may have to move.'" He said, "That's the pressure." Marshall, a quick worker, comes back 2-1, and it's popped up. Lopes says he's got it at second base. On the skin of the infield, takes it for the first out of the Oakland 7th. And that'll bring up Billy North, who started it all back in the 6th inning. On a 3-2 pitch, he drew a walk, threw so many throws from Messersmith, he finally threw Lowen in the dirt, which advanced him to second base. Bando got his first base hit of the series to drive him in with a tying run, and the A's were off and running against Andy Messersmith. North officially 1 for 12 in the series. Say looking for the bunt in on the grass at third, but North is swinging late at a Marshall fastball. Strike one. As Vin described it too, it's a balmy evening now in Oakland. It has just been beautiful weather and expected to be the same tomorrow, reaching into the 80s here in the north of California, whereas around Los Angeles they've been in the high 90s. Unseasonable weather. It stays outside of Marshall change. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Bando is on deck. With the count 1-1, Say remains in on the grass, and that's a strike at the knees, and so he'll back up a little bit now as Will Garvey at first base. There have been some outstanding throws and outstanding plays and some shoddy play. The pitch misses. It's 2-2 in the World Series. But there's never been anything in the 74 series like the 6th inning as far as run production is concerned, and at the expense of 20-game winner Andy Messersmith. The 2-2 pitch is a fastball. Foul tipped, and he strikes out swinging. Strikeout number 1 for Marshall. And with 2 out, Bando comes up. He tied it up with his base hit in the 6th. His first after going 0 for 11. Marshall takes something off a breaking pitch, looked like, and it's a strike inside. They play Bando, as always, way around to the left. Full hitter. Bounces one back toward Marshall, up and down very quickly, comes up with it, throws on, and has Bando. And Marshall has now gone through 5 complete innings in this World Series in 4 different games and has not allowed a runner to score. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. At the end of 7, it's still the A's 5 and the Dodgers 2.
There's a little town in western Pennsylvania called Oil City where they make peace of mind for car owners. Quaker State Motor Oil. They refine it from 100% pure Pennsylvania-grade crude oil, the world's choicest. Then they fortify it to protect your engine against heat and rust and dirt and wear. Quaker State. Who says you can't buy peace of mind?
Quaker State your car. You keep it riding young. You keep it riding young.
Do you know how many people work in America's trucking industry? 9 million. Dedicated to serving 220 million Americans, transporting all their needs. But it takes more than people. It takes roads. The best and safest we can build. The American trucking industry knows that. The B.F. Goodrich Tire Company knows that. And we hope you, too, know that. It's going to take trucks. And it's going to take roads.
A message from B.F. Goodrich Tire Company on behalf of the American trucking industry. And now we pause 35 seconds for station identification.
Isaac Hayes and Pam Grier, the perfect match to set the screen on fire. Put them together and watch the sparks fly. When Truck Turner meets Foxy Brown, when they get it on, the action takes off. Truck Turner and Foxy Brown. Together on one big show. Rated R. Under 17. Not admitted without parents.
The World Series is brought to you in part by American International Pictures, who brings you Truck Turner and Foxy Brown. Now playing at a Showcase Theater near you. WNBC New York.
The Dodgers have 2 more chances to tie this up. And in the 8th inning, they got the top of the batting order, and Alvin Dark is taking no chances at all. He's got left-hander Paul Lindblad and right-hander Raleigh Fingers still throwing in the bullpen. Kenny Holtzman can just fire and try to keep the ball in the strike zone, and he throws a breaking pitch, a slider, to Davey Lopes for strike 1. Lopes to be followed by Buckner in win. It's 5-2, Oakland in the top of the 8th. Another breaking pitch for a strike. Well, it's quickly 0-2 to Lopes, and that takes away the probability of a bunt, and so Bando was able to back up at third base. Holtzman, the left-hander, throwing another off-speed pitch that strikes him out this time swinging. 3 pitches and Lope, the leadoff man, is victim number 7 of Holtzman in strikeout. And that'll bring up Bill Buckner. Buckner doubled to left off the glove of Cordell Washington in the first inning. With a 3-2 count, tried to drag Venezuelan in the third and was thrown out, and popped out to Green at short in the fifth. He's 1 for 3 tonight. He is 4 for 16 in the series. Billy North out in center field picks up a frisbee and flips it into the center field stands. There have been a lot of frisbees around the Oakland ballpark on all nights. And now is back in his regular position, and Holtzman is ready to throw to left-hander. 1-2 hops to Green at second base, and an easy throw to Rudy. And on 1 pitch, Buckner is out. Holtzman in the 8th inning is now throwing 4 pitches, 3 straight strikes to Lopes, and 1 pitch to Buckner, and got him on a ground ball. Up comes Jimmy Wynn, struck out swinging at a change in the first. Bounced out of the 4th and doubled to center. Off the glove of Billy North, who couldn't hold on to it. And then was wild pitch to third, and then 3 straight groundouts left him right there. Holtzman throws a fastball that's too high to win. Wynn has 2 base hits in the series, make that 3 base hits in 14 tries. A single, a double, and a home run. A Toy Cannon, all those years with Houston, this is his first year with the Dodgers. Breaking pitches too low. 2-0 to win. Dodgers are looking for base runners. They're down by 3. In the top of the 8th. Holtzman working very fast now, throws high and away. The one thing Holtzman does not want to do is issue a free pass. Garvey could pump it out of here, and suddenly it's 5-4 should Wynn get on. So on 3-0, taking all the way, and a breaking pitch gets over for strike 1. Wynn takes a look at Tom Lasorda at third to see if he's taking again. Holtzman back and throws another change for a strike. 3-2. Now things have squared out a little bit, evened up a little bit. 3-2 with 2 out, and Holtzman can come back to challenge and does with a fastball, but it's too high, and that's the second walk. Given up by Holtzman. The other man he walked was Ferguson back in the 4th, and he scored. With 2 out, Wynn is a base runner, and Garvey, who is 1 for 3 tonight, and with more base hits than anybody else in the series, 6, steps in. Garvey tonight struck out swinging at a curve, lined a single to right, and scored and bounced to third. When Wynn was on second, Garvey was up and swinging away in the 6th inning of a 2-1 ball game. The strategy did not work. Ground ball in the hole to left field. Wynn will stop at second as Cordell Washington keeps the ball in front of it. And now Joe Ferguson comes up as the potential tying run, and with Ferguson coming up, Alvin Dark is coming out, saying that is enough. And so, again, this becomes the 18th consecutive World Series game in which no starting pitcher has been around at the finish. Ferguson coming up, and that can mean one thing. Raleigh Fingers is coming off. Holtzman this time, as opposed to 4 1/3 innings in the first game, works 7 2/3. Cannot lose the game. He's responsible for the 2 men on base. Gave up 2 runs, 6 hits, struck out 7, and walked 2. Raleigh Fingers is making his 3rd appearance. Worked 6 innings. He's won a game. That was the first. Given up a couple of runs and a couple of home runs, including one to Willie Crawford last night that fairly jumped out of the stadium over the right field wall. During the regular season, Fingers called on more than anybody else in their bullpen, appeared 76 times, won 9, lost 5, 2.65 earned run average. Compare Fingers used more than anybody else, 76 times, as opposed to the amazing Mike Marshall, who was used 106 times. 30 more appearances than Raleigh Fingers had in a 162-game season. With 2 out, Jimmy Wynn is down at second base, and Steve Garvey is on at first base. And Joe Ferguson, 16 home runs during the regular season, and a powerful 2-run blast over the center field wall off Blue Moon Odom. With a fastball in tight to him, ready to come up to the plate. And I'm sure that Joe, who had those errors, pass ball, a couple of strikes out last night, would like to get on the board before his hometown folks. And also would like to put the Dodgers back in business. Dodgers trail 5-2. Ferguson represents the tying run, but now facing a right-hander, Raleigh Fingers. Fingers likes to pitch outside, as all the A pitchers do to the Dodgers, but he's got a slider and a fastball that stays outside. That's the fastball that hits the outside corner for a strike. Fingers ready again. Throws, misses outside, and it's 1-1. The 76 games in which Fingers appeared in during the regular season, the American League high. Ferguson waving that big bat. Big, strong, powerful right-handed hitter. Back with a breaking pitch. Misses. Fingers has gone for that outside corner, as he always does, 3 consecutive times. He's missed twice. It's 2-1. And quickly, the bullpen for the A's gets busy again. Fouled back to the screen. Blue Moon Odom, who was warming up in the early stages, comes out as a right-hander. Paul Lindblad remains a left-hander. 2-2 with 2 out. And Haney calls time and walks out to talk to Raleigh Fingers as Wes Stark, the pitching coach, now races out to the mound. Stark looking Fingers squarely in the eye, telling him what it is he must do or what it is he is not doing. Two-two. Ready and swinging and missing a high fastball. Ball that looked like it might have been out of the strike zone, and Ferguson goes down swinging. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 men left. The Dodgers will have one more chance. We go to the last of the 8th. Oakland 5, Los Angeles 2.
Hi, this is Joe Garagiola, and it's World Series time again. It's the grand finale of the baseball season, because only one team is going to be the winner. And you know, your Dodge dealer has another kind of winner for you. The 1975 Dart Sport Convertible. It's like getting 3 cars for the price of 1. Imagine a 5-passenger compact that turns into a sunroof convertible or instant mini wagon at the flip of an option. And here's the clincher. Chrysler Corporation's new 12-month unlimited mileage car warranty. For the first 12 months of use, any Chrysler Motors Corporation dealer will fix, without charge for parts or labor, any part of our 1975 passenger cars we supply, except tires, which proves defective in normal use, regardless of mileage. That's it. All you have to do is take care of normal maintenance service, such as changing filters and wiper blades. See the new Dart Sport Convertible at your Dodge dealers today.
Jim Simpson in Oakland, along with Ben Scully, as we're in the last of the 8th inning. Jackson, Rudy, and Washington to face Mike Marshall, working his 2nd inning. Marshall got the top of the batting order in the 7th, 1-2-3. Jackson is now looking squarely at Yeager, and they are talking with one another. But then Reggie Jackson likes to talk to anybody. He'll stop you on the street. Matter of fact, when a single reporter is around Jackson, not a great crowd, Reggie on occasion has been known to say, "Ask me some questions." He loves to talk. His talking got him in some problems when he was reprimanded for what he said to a San Francisco area sports writer on Monday afternoon during the workout. Marshall is ready and throws outside. Ball 1 to Jackson. Our score is 5-2. Oakland, we're in the last of the 8th. If the A's win today, they would only have to win 1 of the remaining 3 games to take the 3rd consecutive World Series. Marshall right back, and this pitch stays outside. It's 2-0. Took something off that ball. 49,347, the identical attendance mark of last night. Capacity crowd here in Oakland. The Dodgers set records in each of their first 2 games on Saturday and Sunday. Better than 55,000, nearly 56,000. The 2-0 pitch. Fastball on one hop, backhanded by Russell off his glove. He can't make a play. Hard hit ball at Bill Russell, backhanded, and then could not make a play. Base hit. Get off Marshall, and now Rudy is up there looking down to see whether or not he is up there to do some bunting. With the tying run in and 2 men on in the 6th inning, Rudy did bunt him along, setting up an intentional walk to Washington and the Jim Holt 2-run pinch single. The A's have shown the willingness to bunt. They sacrificed 4 times in the first game, twice by Campaneris, once a squeeze. Marshall now working from the stretch, of course, with Jackson over at first base. Throws ground ball toward Russell, charges in, flips underhand to Lopes. Lopes goes back to first base. Garvey digs it out of the dirt, and there's a quick double play. Rudy, 6-4-3, bounces into the double play. Now there are none on, and Washington has had a perfect night with 2 base hits, an intentional walk, and a run scored comes up. Last-minute substitution in left field as Gene Tennis did not start at first base, and they moved Rudy in to play first base. Washington, the 20-year-old youngster from Berkeley, took over. Had a ball go off his glove for a double in the first inning, but has chipped in with 2 base hits and has scored a run. Left-handed batter Sade on the edge of the grass at third base. Marshall throwing a pitch that stays outside, ball 1. Holtzman pitched excellent baseball tonight for 7 2/3 innings, giving up only 2 runs and 6 hits, striking out 7 and walking 2. He was not the winner on Saturday. Raleigh Fingers, in relief of him, was the winner that day. Without a count to Claudel Washington, swings at a Marshall fastball and fouls it back. Picked up by Yeager. It's 2-1. In the ninth, Ron Say, Bill Russell, and Steve Yeager for the Dodgers, and they're down by 3. Marshall back, and there's a foul back. And it's 2-2 to Claudel Washington. Barring what might happen in the 9th inning, what could happen in the 9th inning, for the first time, we will go to a 9th inning in a ball game that is not really that close. 3 runs is a big margin in this 1974 World Series, and that's what the A's have. Every other game has been decided by the same score and with 1 run. Washington strikes out swinging at a Marshall fastball for Marshall's 2nd strikeout. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and none left. And the Dodgers have 1 more chance when we come back in the 9th. Oakland leads 5-2.
Taxi. Airport, please. You're settled back. Pick up the morning paper. The headline reads, head-on collision, 5 killed. You do a lot of traveling in a year, commuting, flying on business, vacations. There is protection. You can ride with the Kemper Cavalry, the Kemper Insurance Companies and the independent agents who represent us. Our coming and going policy will protect you against loss of life or limb, whether you're flying, riding, or walking. It's the inexpensive and convenient travel accident protection you only have to buy once a year. For full details, including exclusions, reductions, or limitations, call the independent agent who represents Kemper. He's in the yellow pages. The Kemper Insurance Companies. We're with you for the long ride.
Raleigh Fingers will be throwing to catcher Larry Haney. Gene Tennis, who did not start tonight, is now in the ball game at first base as Alvin Dark makes defensive changes, and Claudel Washington is out of the game, and Joe Rudy has gone from first base out to left field. For the infield for the A's, Tennis, Green, Campaneris, and Bando. The outfield from left to right, Rudy, North, and Jackson. Larry Haney behind the plate. Good defense, and Raleigh Fingers with 3 outs to go to give the A's a 3-1 lead in the 1974 World Series for the Oakland Athletics. Ron Say 0 for 3 tonight. 1 for 13 in the series, leads it off, and takes a pitch inside from Raleigh Fingers. And quickly, they were not warming between innings, but now Blue Moon Odom and Paul Lindblad come out and begin to throw again. Charlie Huff, who worked last night, knuckleballer, throwing for the Dodgers. Breaking pitch, catches the outside corner. The Fingers slider, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike to Ron Say. Bill Russell standing on deck. Fingers back, throws him a breaking pitch, a strike at the knees. Say got caught looking at a curveball back in the 4th inning for one of the 7 strikeouts of Ken Holtzman. Fingers a big man, right-hander. Throws, fastball misses the outside corner. 1-2. Tommy Lasorda, ever the optimist, always in motion down at third base in the coaching box, clapping it up for Ron Say. The 2-2 pitch, fastball drilled up the middle, base hit for Say. He gets his first of the evening. And that'll bring up Bill Russell, who tripled to the opposite field and drove in the only 2 runs the Dodgers have in this game back in the 4th inning with 2 out. Hit a 3-1 Holtzman pitch near the wall in right field. Say at first base, not a threat to go. Bando's playing kind of off the bag at third base, not guarding the line too much, and of course Tennis is holding the runner on at first base. Should Russell pull, he can get inside that bag. Breaking pitch to slider, catches the outside corner. Normally at this stage of the game, you would see the third baseman very close to the bag at third, but Bando is well off the bag. The strike 1 pitch. Thrown, foul the other way and over toward the Dodger dugout. It's 2 strikes. 0-2 to Russell, who has 4 base hits in the World Series. 1 tonight, a triple. Dodgers trailed 5-2. We're in the top of the 9th. Fingers throws the breaking pitch. He lost his bat as he fouls the ball off to the right. Russell leaning out across the plate, chasing that breaking pitch, fouled it off and lost the bat in the process. The scoreboard shows us that Vida Blue, 17-game winner, will go for Oakland tomorrow. Don Sutton, 19-game winner for the Dodgers. But more important for Sutton, as you well know by now, he's won his last 12 in a row. Now, that curveball of Sutton's, he's been nigh on the invincible here in the late season. Well, he has been, 12 in a row. 2 strikes to count to Russell. Fingers throws and misses outside. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, this is the same situation Fingers was in with Ron Say. 0-2, then missed outside, 1-2, and then came back with the ball that Say was able to hit to center field for a base hit. Russell waits and swings and misses to the breaking ball. Fingers strikes out his second man. 1 out in the 9th. And Steve Yeager, due up, but is now walking back. And Von Joshua is coming out on deck. Yeager, the right-hander, takes the seat for Joshua, who during the regular season hit .234. He has been up twice in this series and is 0 for 2. Ron Say on at first base. Larry Haney walking back very slowly. Bando retreats toward third base, looking into the dugout, nodding his head toward the dugout and Alvin Dark. As Joshua continues to swing a bat on deck. And now walks very slowly to take up his position in the left-handed batter's box. Jackson in right field took a couple of steps back, would be on the warning track, and now, realizing that Joshua is up, walks a little bit more toward center field and comes in 20 or 30 feet. They're playing him to hit the other way. Bando still off the bag at third. Campaneris is well towards second base. Big gaping hole between Bando, even though he's off the bag. Ground ball. Delver by Green. Delver to the shortstop, back to first, double play to win it. Dick Green makes another super play, and the A's come digging out of the dugout. He dove to his right, slipped to Campaneris, who got Joshua at first for a game-ending double play. No runs, one hit, no errors, and none left. And more importantly, Oakland wins 5-2.
Championship shaving is on the air. The first blade is cutting the whisker. That's one shave. And the second blade is coming over to try for two. It's got it. A beautiful double play on that whisker by the two-bladed Gillette Track 2 razor. Let's get an instant replay of those two blades teaming up on that incredible shave. There, the Track 2 is beginning to shave the whisker. The first blade lifting it out away from the face, actually exposing extra whisker. The first blade is through, and the whisker is starting to snap back in. But here comes the second blade. It's going to nail that whisker again before it can all get back. Yes, the Gillette Track 2 has shaved the same whisker twice for a closer shave. And both those blades are recessed for extra safety. The final score, the Track 2 razor effect, 2 whiskers, nothing. Folks, that's championship shaving brought to you by the Gillette Track 2 shaving system. The closest thing to a perfect shave.
Well, then, Scully, the Dodgers are down as the old cliche goes, but not out, with Don Sutton due tomorrow.
Yes, but they have to be hurting very much tonight. If there's one big departure from the script in the series, in the other 3 games that were 3-2, the losing team found it very easy to console itself with the thought that we gave it away, that we could have won, that there was really not much that different. But there was a big difference in the 2 teams tonight. The clutch pitching of Kenny Holtzman, the Dodgers wasting extra base hits. They had 3 doubles and a triple and managed to score only the fellow who singled and walked. So they left 4 extra base hits out on the base paths. For Andy Messersmith, he let the leadoff man get on base in 4 out of 6 innings, and of course it eventually led to the undoing. It was the better team indeed tonight that won it. For Oakland, 5 runs, 7 hits. For the Dodgers, 2 runs, 7 hits, and 1 error. If there was one big difference in Andy Messersmith, it was in the 6th inning. When he makes his errors, he usually throws the ball away, and that was the undoing when he tried to pick Bill North off and threw it away. But then, he is a strikeout pitcher who has had trouble striking people out because he does not have that good curveball. And if he ever had a strikeout pitch earlier in the year, he would have struck out Jim Holt. But he didn't have it tonight, and Holt singled, and the ball game went down the drain. We'll be back with more World Series coverage in just 1 minute.
If you've been new car shopping, you've probably found it's hard to decide which size is right for you. Hi, this is Joe Garagiola, and I'd like to suggest you check out the 1975 Coronet hardtops at your Dodge dealers. These cars are a little bit smaller and a little bit sportier than standard-sized cars. They're sized right, priced right, and styled to keep you ahead of the crowd. And here's the clincher. Chrysler Corporation's new 12-month unlimited mileage car warranty. For the first 12 months of use, any Chrysler Motors Corporation dealer will fix, without charge for parts or labor, any part of our 1975 passenger cars we supply, except tires, which proves defective in normal use, regardless of mileage. That's it. All you have to do is take care of normal maintenance service, such as changing filters and wiper blades. So take a look at the 1975 Coronet hardtops. They're all new, and they're at your Dodge dealers this week.
Kenny Holtzman has his first win of this 1974 series, his 4th and 5 decisions in his lifetime as a World Series pitcher for the Oakland A's. Andy Messersmith, who pitched very well and lost on Saturday, pitched not so well and got himself in a hole here tonight and is now 0-2. And for the A's, they won their 4th series game in a row, extending back to last year. And going back, they won their 6th and 7th games, remember, here last year to clinch it against the New York Mets. They could clinch tomorrow night. But that's another story to be talked about tomorrow night, and we'll be back with the final wrap-up of tonight's World Series game in just 1 minute.
Look, if you spent a lot on your camera, you're not about to use ordinary batteries in it. So come to the top. If your cassette player is always going and you need a battery that can keep going too, come to the top of the Ever-Ready line. Come to the Ever-Ready Alkaline Power Cell, our best, longest-lasting power source. No ordinary battery ever made works so hard, so long. Repeat, no ordinary battery ever made works so hard, so long. has the Ever-Ready Alkaline Power Cell. Now you can get a $1 refund on specially marked packages of Ever-Ready Alkaline Power Cells. Details at participating Ever-Ready dealers. Come to the top. Come to the Ever-Ready Alkaline Power Cell.
Al Ashby, our producer, our engineer John Cameron, Jim Sims with Vince Scully saying goodbye from Oakland. Game 4 has been brought to you by the makers of Ever-Ready Alkaline Power Cell. Come to the top with Ever-Ready's biggest, best, long-lasting power source. By the Gillette Track 2 shaving system. It's the closest thing to a perfect shave. By your nearby Dodge dealer. Invite you to see the change in Charger. It's a whole new car. The Kemper Insurance Companies. They're with you for the long ride. And by the makers of Quaker State Motor Oil, available more places than ever, now that you need it more than ever. This has been an NBC Radio Network sports presentation.